Hokage I'll become stronger when I'm fishing. Chapter 21-40. Chapter 21. Fishing is fun for a while, fishing all the time, fun all the time. System, Summon Character Attribute Panel. Host, Yagami Kanto. Realm, Elite Shangnin. Special Ability, Immortal Human Body, Level 7, Level 10. Blood Follower Limit, White Eyes, Level 8, Level 10. Teishu, 8 Gates of Dunjia, 7 gates, 8 gates in total. Ninjutsu, Fire Escape, Fire Technique, Water Escape, Water Dragon Bullet, Earth Escape, Earth Flow Wall. Each ability has been slightly improved, although the overall ability is still elite. But Yagami Kangdu felt that if he fought Orochimaru or Tsunade Hime again, he would be able to defeat them in a shorter time. The same as the elite Jonin, the difference is still very big. In terms of ninjutsu, I also got 3 ninjutsu, at least I can fool the old man Sarutobi Hibiki. The thing that makes Iori Kangdu the happiest is that the 8 gates Dunjia has been upgraded to the 7th gate. Jingmun Day Tiger, the power is extremely amazing. The damage range can reach several kilometers. This is an extremely fast slaying punch, capable of compressing into a high-pressure gas bomb in the form of a tiger to attack the opponent. When facing Ludaoban, he even achieved a frontal repulsion. Even if Madara was careless for a while, it was enough to show the strength of the Day Tiger. The disadvantage is that even with the current progress of the immortal body, it is still impossible to guarantee that Yagami Kangdu will start the Day Tiger mode without injury. But for a short time without injury, there should be no problem. It's just that there is no place to experiment, and the specific situation is still unknown. The strength has been greatly improved, and the mood of Yagami Kangdu is quite good. Lying on the beach chair, opened Tsunade Hime's photo. Just at first glance, Yagami Kangdu had to sigh, it is really a talent that is ingenious. As for which aspect and what kind of talent, only God knows. It was also when Yagami Kangdu took a short rest and was ready to continue his fishing career. At his residence, Sarutobi Hizen himself came to visit. Still a child, even if he is strong, he still needs to be persuasive. Good guidance and strong strength are the blessings of Konoha village. If it's like Madara, it's a disaster. Dong dong dong. The door was knocked, but Yagami Kangdu did not appear, but Uzumaki Kushina opened the door. It's Kushina, good boy, what about big brother Kanto? Sarutobi Hizen asked kindly. Brother Kangdu is at Hokage Rock. Uzumaki Kushina replied. He's still at Hokage Rock. Sarutobi Hizen wondered. I heard that Iori Kangdu was in Hokage Rock half a month ago, why is it still there? Kushina, tell Grandpa, what is brother Sudo doing in Hokage Rock? Sarutobi Hizen said kindly. In order to avoid the misunderstanding of Yagami Kangdu, he didn't send anyone to follow him, otherwise he wouldn't have come to find him in person, and he wasted no time. Brother Kangdu is fishing, Uzumaki Kushina said bluntly. Fishing? Sarutobi Hizen wondered, how long has he been fishing? 1 month. What? Sarutobi Hizen suddenly changed his face. A month. Haven't been home. No. I don't understand why Sarutobi Hizen's face changed, Uzumaki Kushina nodded innocently. As the 3rd generation grandpa going to find brother Kangdu with me? Lifting the lunchbox in his hand, Uzumaki Kushina asked. No, you go. Sarutobi Hizen waved his hand, thinking that he had already found a reason for Yagami Kanto. Fishing, develop patience, personal hobbies, that's fine. Like him, also likes to smoke, not a big deal. As long as the responsible thing is done, everything will be fine. Going all the way to the exclusive office of the captain of the dark part, looking at the processing documents on the desk, Hiruzen Sarutobi couldn't edit it anymore. When did your squad leader start not processing papers? Suppressing his emotions, Sarutobi Hizen asked. Anbu members did not dare to neglect, and said directly, 1 month. Me. Sarutobi Hizuki, who was almost swearing, took a deep breath. Remind yourself that this is a rare evildoer of Konoha, and you must not be angry. Must be calm. After all, Yagami Kingdo is only a 9-year-old child, with strong strength, but still a child's temperament. It must be so. Must. Soon, a month has passed. Instead of going to Yagami Kingdo's residence, he went directly to the office. The documents that were originally piled up were already as high as a hill. I tell Hokage-sama, the squad leader is fishing behind Hokage Rock. The Anbu member bit the bullet and said. As calm as Sarutobi Hizen, when he heard this sentence, his face turned ashen. 2 months, 2 full months. As the captain of the dark part, you don't care about anything, don't do anything. Still fishing. This boy Kingdo never came back in the middle. Sarutobi Hizen suppressed his anger and asked. If you train and improve your strength, he will have nothing to say. The results of it. In addition to fishing, are fishing. Not dealing with affairs, not cultivating, is this going to heaven? The 9-year-old, the elite Jonin, is indeed the first genius in the history of Konoha village. But such talent, don't waste it so much, right? If he had such talent, would he wish to practice 24 hours a day? Go, let him meet me in the Hokage office building, and say it's my order. Sarutobi Hizen made a decision. You can't fight, you can't scold, and it's always alright to educate them well, right? How many months are there in life? Such a waste of money, what a pity. Soon, Sarutobi Hizen sat in the Hokage office. The more you think, the more angry you are. He had high expectations and basically went to train Hokage. Why don't you cherish it at all? Practice hard and become a super shadow level powerhouse. Famous in the whole ninja world, isn't he fragrant? Either fishing or fishing every day is a waste of talent. Jirai on the side also looked at Orochimaru, and they all heard about Yagami Kingdo's strange behavior. To be able to anger 3 generations of old men like this. Yagami Kingdo is the first. Chapter 22, the goal finally appeared. Soon, when Yagami Soto came to Hokage's office, Orochimaru, Jiraiya, Tsunade Hime, and even Hiruzen Sarutobi were taken aback. A 9-year-old child, the vicissitudes of life are unbelievable. Long hair and a dusty face. There was no clean place anywhere. Hey, 3-generation-old man, are you looking for me? Iori Kingdo said calmly. If it hadn't been for hearing this outrageous remark, others would even think that Yagami Kingdo had been faked. Unexpectedly, Yagami Kingdo actually fell to such a level. Did something happen? At the beginning, Sarutobi Hizen, who had planned to teach Yagami Kingdo a hard lesson, immediately forgot what he said earlier. What kind of blow did you suffer? Lovelorn. Zillai also exclaimed in shock. Idiot, how could a 9-year-old child be lost in love? Tsunade-ji gave Jiraiya a shudder. Iori Kingdo suddenly realized, and replied to himself, are you guys wondering about my dress? It's nothing, I just went fishing, and I didn't pay much attention to the time. 2 full months, you told me you didn't pay attention to the time. It passed by accidentally. Orochimaru was stunned. He considers himself a cultivator, but he still can't do it to such an extent. Is fishing so fun? To be able to make a 9-year-old so obsessed. Don't hesitate to waste your talent. This is too crazy. Sarutobi Hizen also saw the madness of Yagami Kingdo, but he didn't expect a hobby to be so paranoid. The anger in my heart that hated iron as not steel disappeared, but I couldn't help but exhort. It's okay for children to be playful, but you still have to pay attention to your body. It's not necessary to be so embarrassed for yourself. The teacher is right. Everything must be done in moderation. You are young and powerful. You do have the capital to be proud of, but you can't waste your talent too much. Zillai also reminded. Orochimaru and Tsunade Hime also nodded in agreement. Wasting talent. Yagami Kanto laughed. I can improve myself all the time, why have I ever wasted any talent? But this kind of thing can't be said, the biggest secret can be exposed from the front. Nodding on his face, pretending to listen to their persuasion, Yagami Kingdo said, I will. Okay, go back and clean up yourself. When others saw it, I thought that all the captains of Konoha Anon were like this. Tsunade-ji also reminded aloud. The 3 generations of old men called me over here, don't they have something to explain? Yagami Kingdo was puzzled. Sarutobi Hizen was stunned for a moment, then waved his hands again and again. I'm getting old, and I'm a little forgetful, so I can't remember it for the time being. Go back and sort yourself out. Hurry up, hurry up. Good. Yagami Kingdo responded and turned away. Fishing for a full 2 months. The image of Yagami Kanto has indeed undergone great changes. Although Uzumaki Kushina would bring a change of clothes from time to time, but every time Yagami Soto forgot. After all, it's a race against time to concentrate on fishing. Through the reflection by the river, Yagami Soto also understood. Why was everyone stunned when they first entered the Hokage office? Soon, back to the other side after washing and trimming the hair neatly. After eating the special lunch of Uzumaki Kushina, Yagami Soto came to the dark part captain's office assigned to him. Looking at the documents to be processed, Yagami Kingdo did not panic at all. Some even wanted to laugh. He won't handle it, but someone will handle it. The people under the command were driven, and all the documents were processed in just one morning. The trivial ones are executed by the following people, and he only needs to issue accurate instructions. When the documents were processed, Yagami Soto went home. The matter was quickly reported to Sarutobi Hizen. Hearing that Yagami Kingdo handled things in an orderly and fast manner, he felt relieved. That's right. To be a sub-captain, one must have the appearance of being a sub-captain. Of course, the subordinates of those detachments would definitely not reveal that Yagami Kingdo was in fact still a hands-off shopkeeper. At this moment, Yagami Kingdo has returned home. Kushina, let's go. She shouted at the room, and Kushina, who had been prepared for a long time, jumped out. A month ago, Uzumaki Kushina successfully became the 9-tailed Manzuli. This matter is a top secret, and few people in the entire Konoha village know about it. During the period, some people came to investigate, but they were all blocked from the outside. In those days, the defense of the entire Konoha village was raised to an unprecedented level. Even Soto Yagami, who was fishing, could feel it. Right after all. Now in the entire ninja world, no one can suppress the runaway 9-tailed demon fox. In the original book, the blackened Obito caused the 9-tails rebellion. If it weren't for the seal of Uzumaki Kushina's own, and finally at the expense of Naruto's childhood, I am afraid that Konoha village will be greatly damaged. Where do we go to practice? Uzumaki Kushina asked, sticking to Yagami Kingdo's side. Behind Hokage Rock, there's no one there. Yagami Kingdo asked. Soon, the two came to the back of Hokage Rock. Uzumaki Kushina looked a little nervous. Can I? Believe in yourself, Yagami Kingdo encouraged. It won't hurt, right? Uzumaki Kushina was still hesitant. Don't worry. Then shall I start? Yeah, Yagami Kingdo tirelessly. Fire escape how fireball technique. With a loud shout, Uzumaki Kushina almost finished the seal in the blink of an eye. The chakra gathered in the throat spewed out, forming a huge fireball that swept the pond ahead. Yagami Kingdo prepared in advance, opened the door, Bialianwa moved at high speed, and smashed the giant fireball with one punch. I succeeded, Uzumaki Kushina exclaimed in surprise. Yagami Kingdo also smiled. At least it has the strength of Chunin chakra, which is very powerful. He stepped forward and touched the head of Uzumaki Kushina, expressing his approval. As the Chunin strength, Kingdo brother is more powerful, so he can smash it with one punch. When Uzumaki Kushina heard the words, she instantly turned into a little fangirl. Next, the two continued to try various fire escapes. Uzumaki Kushina, who has the teachings of Yagami Kangdu, has made rapid progress, and has almost mastered all kinds of low-level fire escapes. It's just that the intensity of Huodun depends on the mood, and Uzumaki Kushina still can't send and receive freely. But this is not bad. At least, Uzumaki Kushina already has the ability to protect herself. When the two returned home, the sky was completely dark. The Whirlpool Kushina, who spent a lot of chakra, quickly fell asleep. At this moment, a figure appeared outside the window. It was from Anbu. "Captain, I have done what you explained." "Are you sure?" Yagami Kangdu asked. 100%, she often haunts around there. The subordinate nodded earnestly. As early as 2 months ago, Yagami Kangdu sent someone to observe that person secretly. As a modern man, he understands the truth. In Hokage, there is no absolute direct line of his own, and he does not know when he will be calculated. Anbu is the world of Danzo again. Who knows if there is a flag he planted around him. Of course he wouldn't make a big move to remove it. Anyway, at least when it comes to issues in Konoha village, no one would dare to mess around. However, Yagami Kangdu also needs to cultivate his own direct line. And this subordinate who came to report was sent by Yagami Kangdu to find such existences in others. Of course, Yagami Kangdu also kept a hand, investigating in a reasonable way, and wouldn't leave anyone a clue. And now, finally, the opportunity has come. Chapter 23. Yi Kang, let me change your destiny. Yagami Kanto opened the map. On the map, there is a spot marked with a red cross. The location was nothing else, it was the location where Yagami Aoto wanted to find that person. "Are you sure that burning escape Yi Kang is here?" Yagami Kangdu asked earnestly, looking at his subordinates. Subordinate nodded and responded cautiously, "Absolutely correct, Captain. The subordinate has been squatting for a long time. This person is indeed the owner of the blood-sustaining boundary, or a very special burning escape. But he seems to be about the same age as you, Captain, and his strength is still unknown. But at least in the eyes of his subordinates, he is not her opponent, so he did not dare to get too close. The other details have not been investigated yet." "Enough, you're doing well." Yagami Kanto did not hesitate to praise this subordinate. Similar to himself, the owner of Burning Escape, a little girl with unusually powerful strength, isn't that Yi Kang? Good. The person Yagami Kangdu wants to cultivate is Yi Kang, the Scorching Escape. At present, Yi Kang has just awakened to the limit of blood and has not yet entered the eyes of the high-level officials of Cheyenne Village. This is an opportunity. After more than 2 months of confirmation. Now that her identity has finally been determined, her trace has been found. Fortunately, no time wasted. The group of idiots in Cheyenne Village hadn't found Yi Kang yet. "Is it difficult, Yi Kang? I have to make an appointment." In the Third Ninja World War, it will be in the battle against the hidden village of Kiri. Yi Kang used absolute scorching ability to restrain Shui Dun and the Frost Dun of the Mizunoyuki clan, making Wuin village a thorn in his side. Later, he was tortured by the 4 generations of Fengying Luasha and died tragically. This kind of talent is used to kill, why not grab it and leave it to Cheyenne Village as cannon fodder? What's more, she's very good looking now, and it's good to be seductive. 5 days later. After saying hello to Miura Ichiro and arranging the affairs of Uzumaki Kushina, Yagami Soto set off. The reason for Hirosaki Sarutobi is that he needs actual combat to improve his combat effectiveness. Konoha Anbu. How could they be here? The leader is obviously a child, could it be Konoha's new leader of the dark part? What is he doing here? Is it to stir up trouble? There are many guards at the border of the Land of Wind, and some of them recognize the identity of Konoha Anbu, and quickly speculated the identity of Yagami Kangdu. The 8 gods Kangdu did not hide it, and entered the country of the wind openly. The guards of the Kingdom of the Wind on the border were moved when they saw Konoha Anbu dispatched. This is not something they can deal with, and they can only quickly report the matter to the village. "Are you sure?" Konoha's new leader of the dark part led people into the country of wind. And hasn't it been concealed at all? The one guarding the border is a member of the Sandian village. After getting the news, Shokten repeatedly asked, "Are you sure you read it right?" There is absolutely no mistake. Everyone else is wearing a mask, but the child has an unfamiliar face and is not wearing a mask. The guard explained. "Hi." Sandian village Chunin sucked in a breath, and quickly ordered, "Send someone to monitor them. Remember, don't get too close. That is Konoha Anbu, we are definitely not opponents. Be sure to remember, just watch what they are going to do from a distance, and I will inform Lord Fungying now." Sand-hidden village Chunin quickly took action. "Konoha Anbu, they dare not provoke. But you enter my territory and surveillance is normal and no one is to blame. As for hands-on. As everyone knows, Konoha Anbu has the earliest origin. Everyone is the best of the best. If the rumors are correct, the leading little ghost is the strongest, even comparable to the elite Junin. If such people want to run rampant, they can only watch. Go up. Just looking for death. But okay. They didn't look like they were picking quarrels and provoking trouble. When they discovered their existence, they didn't care. This is good news." When he was not far from the target, Yagami Soto asked the Onbi members to wait for him in place. Now Yi King is still a 9-year-old child, so many people, such a big battle, it would be a bad thing to be scared away. Soon, Yagami Kanto arrived at the destination. Weird, the scope looked. In such a big place, there is only one lonely little house. Even the roof leaked a little to the east and one to the west, which looked very shabby. "Grandma, go in quickly, your body can't stand such torment, I can." Soon, a little girl's voice came over. As far as the eye can see, a little girl is supporting an old lady. The little girl was covered in torn clothes, and the old lady was on crutches, her hair was gray, and it was difficult to walk. "Hey, old lady, don't pretend to be sick, you owe us money, but it's still not paid off." On the other side, there are a few vicious people standing. One by one, they had their waists tucked into their arms, looking like they were invincible. "Good sir, I really don't have any money to pay back this month. I'll make it up for you next month, next month." The old lady's face was wrinkled and she begged bitterly. "Grandmother, stand up quickly." The little girl stubbornly helped her grandmother, but with her own strength, she couldn't pull it up at all. Turned around and said to the clamoring crowd, "You guys are going too far. The promised 1,000 wind coins a month have now become 10,000. Where are we going to get so much money?" "Then I don't care, it's your own business, I just need to get the money." The Ronin who led the way of Bushido said disdainfully. "That's obviously not the money my grandma owes. If you want to find it, just find that person to settle the account." The little girl was about to cry. How could he have seen such a rhetorical person? Obviously it's not the money they owe, and now they need to pay it back. But from 1,000 wind coins at the beginning, it has risen to 10,000 a month wind coins now. They are old and young and have no source of income at all. They can only rely on picking and selling food from the wild to earn a small salary, all of which have been exploited. Even if he's not your grandmother's biological child, he took care of him. It's only right and proper to pay the debt to the mother. The leading Ronin mentioned the shrinking middle-aged man next to him and said, "Are you right?" "Yes, what the uncle said is right. Yi King, you were just picked up by my mother. Don't mind your own business, take out the money." The middle-aged man flattered and responded to the Ronin, and turned back to Yi King fiercely. This kind of scum, Yi King could not wait to smash his front teeth with one punch. "However, if you really have no money, it's not impossible to use you to pay off your debts," the leading Ronin said suddenly. He didn't realize it at first, but as he got older, Yi King became more and more beautiful. Even if he is only 9 years old, it can already be seen that he is a beautiful embryo. Such a person, if sold to the rich in the village, will definitely get a good price. You deceive people too much. When Yi King heard this, he gritted his teeth. His eyes were red, and a dangerous aura appeared on his body. It was at this moment that a tender palm was held on her wrist. Chapter 24. Covetousness is the original sin, an act of death. The icy coldness instantly made Yi Kang's mind clear. The dangerous breath dissipated. It came too fast, and there were ordinary people around, so naturally I didn't notice anything. Oh, a hero saves beauty. I didn't expect to find a man to protect myself at such a young age. The leading Ronin took a closer look and found that he was only a half-year-old child, and immediately sneered. How much they owe you in total, tell me the amount, and I'll pay them back. Yagami Kangdu said indifferently. When everyone around heard the words, they all looked at Kangdu, the 8 gods. With clean eyes and a standout temperament, it really doesn't look like a child from an ordinary family. But the Ronin wanted to take Yi King away more than money. Therefore, looking at Yagami Kangdu with a bad face, he said, "Where did you come from?" Iori Kangdu shrugged. "I'm just a passerby. If you're passing by, get out of the way. Don't think you can control everything. Don't you just want money? I can give you money." Yagami Kangdu didn't care. You give money. Okay, a total of 300,000 wind coins, do you have it? The Ronin sneered. The people around were also roaring with laughter. Big brother, don't listen to his nonsense, a total of 100,000 wind coins. Yi King said in a timely manner. It was 100,000 wind coins just now, but your grandma stained my clothes, so that's 300,000 wind coins, do you have any opinion? The Ronin said viciously. When everyone looked at his hem, there were indeed water stains. However, the rainy season in Wuyin village is pervasive, and there may be frosted weeds everywhere, making it clear that there are strong arguments. 300,000 is 300,000, it doesn't matter. Yagami Kangdu pulled Yi King behind him. 60,000. The Ronin changed his tune again. 600,000. You really dare to think about it, but it doesn't matter. Yagami Kangdu said indifferently. The time has passed, 600,000 is not enough, I want this little girl to follow me. Ronin looked at Yagami Kanto with a foolish look. Everyone around was smiling. They have long been accustomed to this situation. Just bullying ordinary people with no background. They have ninjas as their backers, so they don't panic at all. Big brother, let's go, leave us alone, there are ninjas behind him, and we have no chance of winning. Yi King tugged on the sleeve of Yagami Kangdu and said. She didn't want this big brother who stood up for her to be hurt. These people are all vicious people, and the village knows it. But no one cares. Obviously, they have a huge background. When you encounter such a thing, you can endure it. Yes, boy, you're a good boy, but leave us alone, let's go. The grandmother also echoed. Want to go now, it's too late. It was at this moment that the Ronin suddenly spoke. He is wicked and courageous. Seeing Yagami Kangdu's good looks, he was able to take out hundreds of thousands of wind coins when he opened his mouth, and he became greedy. Not only did he want to take away Yi King's money to sell, but also the hundreds of thousands of wind coins promised by Yagami Kangdu, he would also take all of them. It's alright, I'll leave it to big brother to deal with it, okay. Ignoring the greedy face of the Ronin, Iori Kangdu turned his head and said to Yi King. The warm smile made Yi King suddenly stunned. The words fell, Iori Kangdu turned his head, 1,000,000 wind coins. The Ronin laughed suddenly. He thought that the 8 gods were afraid, and sneered, I will take the money myself, you can't leave today, this little girl, you won't leave either. If you haven't experienced the cruelty of society, you won't understand it. Let me teach you today. Ha ha ha. The surrounding Ronin's subordinates suddenly burst into arrogant laughter. Just a 9-year-old. Can it still be turned upside down? They settled on the 8 gods Kangdu, and the money and goods took all. No, I mean, you need to come up with 1,000,000. Yagami Kangdu said. Clang. Ronan suddenly looked furious, pulled out the samurai sword from his waist and shouted, "Little devil, you are not tired of living, do you know who we are?" The lead Ronin makes a move, and the helpers behind him will naturally not be indifferent. Almost everyone has a katana sword and is aggressive. He looked at the 8 gods Kangdu fiercely, and there was a big disagreement, meaning that he would be rectified on the spot. "Is that all you rely on?" Yagami Kangdu looked around and smiled, very contemptuous. Yi King, who was behind him, didn't know why. He should have been worried, but was inexplicably relieved. It seems that as long as Iori Kangdu is there, no one can hurt her. This feeling was strange, but Yi King didn't know why. "Go on, teach me a lesson to this brat." The Ronin waved his samurai sword and ordered. More than a dozen helpers behind him swarmed up, waving their weapons. The katana shone with a cold glow, swung vigorously and even made a slight cracking sound. This is not holding back at all, to beat Yagami Kangdu to death. It was as if I saw the scene in which Yagami Kanto was dismantled into 8 pieces. The Ronin smiled and was very happy. That kind of blood-spraying picture is very exciting to think about. Okay, only strong enough strength can protect the people around you. Facing the dozen or so Ronin, Yagami Kangdu turned his head and said to Yi King. Yi King was a little ignorant and didn't quite understand the meaning of Yashin Kang's words. But soon, a terrifying aura swept out with Yagami Kangdu as the center. Yi King unexpectedly discovered that his own burning escape couldn't help but boil, and he protected himself. Big brother also has the same ability as me. Yi King was very puzzled. Boom. At this moment, Yagami Kangdu directly opened the 5th, Dumin Konoha whirlwind. The temperament of the whole person and kindness suddenly became extremely aggressive. Originally ferocious, the dog legs who were madly waving their weapons and rushing up, were suddenly unable to move. They are just ordinary people. In the face of the terrifying 8-door Dunjia, the oppressive force emanating from the Shengnin-level powerhouse could not lift a single finger to resist. Only now did they realize that they were not dealing with a 9-year-old at all, but a terrible existence. Chapter 25. Burning Escape. Yi King, True Talent. How? The leading Ronin's eyes burst out, watching this scene in disbelief. He had never seen this type of taijutsu ninja, so he couldn't tell the difference. I just felt that there was an oppressive force in the air, and my subordinates' weapons were all lost, and I couldn't get up when I lay on the ground. Not just Ronin. Even Yi King was stunned. It looks like he is a half-year-old child. But the ability that Yagami Kanto has shown now is simply appalling. Big brother is awesome. A childish cry rang out. Yi King was very excited. These bullies should have learned their lesson. Even the grandmother with limited mobility clenched her fists and said with a mouth that leaks. Yagami Kangdu stepped on the bodies of the dogs and walked to the leader of the Ronin step by step. Wherever he passed, there was a sound of broken bones. Ah! Accompanied by a truly shrill cry, it resounded in the air. When he came to the leader of the Ronin, a series of slaps from Yagami Kangdu landed on his face. In an instant, he was beaten into a pig's head, but he controlled his strength and did not kill him. I said earlier that he would be asked to take out 1 million wind coins as compensation. How could it be so easy to let him die? Now, it's your choice. Iori Kangdu chuckled lightly. 1 million, buying your own life is a good deal, right? Does the Ronin leader dare to say nothing? He has been able to mix up to this day, of course he has eyesight. The child in front of him is most likely a ninja, and he is not an ordinary person. The people behind him didn't give him such a terrifying feeling, he couldn't afford to offend him. 1 million, no, 1.5 million, I gave it. Please forgive me, the villain is wrong, please forgive me. The Ronin leader fell to his knees with a plop. Yagami Kangdu smiled and walked back towards Yi King. Do you understand? Yagami Kangdu said, rubbing Yi King's head. Understood. Yi King clenched his fist. I want to become stronger. Then leave with me. Yagami Kingdu said directly. Leave. Where? Yi King's big eyes flickered with deep doubts. I'm not from the land of wind, I come from the land of fire, Konoha Ninja Village. Yagami Kingdu explained patiently. Yi King heard the words, lowered his head and froze. There was no reply for a long time. What? You don't want to? Iori Kingdu frowned. Life here doesn't seem worth remembering, does it? Yi King shook his head and said apologetically, I'm sorry big brother, I really want to go with you, but I can't. My grandma is old, I can't leave him alone. It turns out that this is the case. It's not a problem, I was going to take your grandma with me. Yagami Kingdu laughed and shook his head. Ah, really? Yi King was surprised. Just blinking, Yi King's face was filled with deep sadness. But everyone says I'm a monster, I can't implicate big brother. Monster. Yagami Kingdu stepped forward. You look so cute, how can you be a monster? That's all their nonsense. No, they didn't talk nonsense. I'm really a monster. My parents went to heaven because of me. Yi King's eyes were red, obviously thinking of a bad past. You don't want to say that sometimes the body will suddenly burst out with fireballs that can evaporate all the water. Yagami Kanto guessed it. Big brother, do you know? Yi King didn't know what to say at first, but he didn't expect to be broken by Yagami Kingdu. Actually, this is not a bad ability. You are a genius. This is a kind of Shueiji boundary, a very powerful ability. Yagami Kanto explained. Blood succession boundary is a technique that can only be inherited by blood relatives under normal circumstances. Usually, other than those of the same bloodline who can inherit it, others cannot learn or imitate it. So I'm great. A child is a child, and the spirit is easily attracted. Yagami Kingdu nodded. Try to concentrate and see if you can summon a fireball. Boom. After the words fell, 3 small fireballs appeared in Yi King's hand and rotated alternately. She also looked innocently at Yashin Kingdu and said, Is that so? Iori Kingdu was suddenly depressed. It turns out that this is the limit of blood, no wonder Naruto is known as the Ice Shadow Ninja. Whether or not there is a bloodline limit and a special physique are two different things. The realm that a commoner may have been able to achieve after a lifetime of hard work, Yi King's outbreak reached the level of Chunin in an instant. Just can't control it yet. But after practice and training with Chuck, after reaching a certain level, you will be able to show extreme terrifying combat effectiveness. As soon as the burning escape technique came out, he rubbed the bomb in his hand. It also has a negative state. If you are not careful, the water in your body will be evaporated, and you will instantly turn into a mummified corpse and die. You will cast Burning Escape. Yagami Kingdu looked at Yi King and thought of a possibility. Although Burning Escape is the limit of blood, the way of use may be contained in blood. But Yi King was only 9 years old, so using Burning Dun was too handy. Yi King's face turned slightly red. He walked over to Yagami Kingdu, and said in a low voice, Actually, my father taught me once, so I will. I'm sorry big brother, I didn't hide it from you on purpose. Yi King felt very sorry. It was as if he had deceived Yagami Soto. It's okay, your father taught me well. Then can you tell me why you always endured when these people bullied you just now? Yagami Kanto asked. My father once taught me that the strange power in my body is dangerous and cannot be used in front of people. Unless it is a life-threatening moment, you must restrain yourself no matter what. Yi King didn't hide it at all. Yi King instinctively felt close to this big brother whom he had just met. This is a girl's sixth sense. Let's have a fight with big brother. Iori Kingdu smiled. Ah, it's not good, I'm afraid of hurting the big brother. Yi King was stunned for a moment, and quickly shook his head. Although she felt that Yagami Kingdu was very powerful, she was also very worried about her own scorching escape. What if I hurt my big brother? It's okay, big brother is very powerful. Iori Kingdu patted Yi King's head and said, Big brother also wants to show you how powerful he is. Then, well then. Yi King was still a little hesitant, but he was still persuaded. Grandmother, is it okay? Yagami Kingdo also smiled at the old grandmother. Go, the grandmother nodded kindly. She liked the little guy Yagami Kingdo very much, with a good face, not like a bad person. The two quickly came to an empty field. Chapter 26, Terrifying Burning Escape Fireball Bursts. Big brother, is it really okay? Yi King, who was standing opposite Yagami Kingdo, asked Chi-Chi. Under the guidance of her father, she once accidentally killed a beast. A tiger several times taller than his father, a ferocious pack of wolves. Once faced with her full-blown scorching escape, it would turn into a mummified corpse in minutes, or the ground was full of debris. Yi King was very frightened when he thought that Yagami Kingdo might become like that. Come on though, this is your time to change your destiny. Yagami Kingdo said, if you have no value at all, I will not take you away. Seeing that Yi King, who was young at this time, seemed to be very indecisive because of the previous affairs, Yagami Kingdo chose to use verbal stimulation. Really? Based on his trust in Yagami Soto, Yi King gathered up his courage. Boom! Yi King erupted, and a large number of fireballs appeared around him, several times more than the 3 fireballs he had just summoned. Each one spins in an orderly manner, constantly rubbing and shooting sparks. The surrounding vegetation quickly withered, crumbled, and turned into debris. A gust of wind blew, and the Ronin and his party, who were almost scared to pee, were stunned. They are simply unimaginable. The little girl who was wanton bullying in the past is actually such a terrifying existence. The copyright of the novel resource belongs to the original author. The text is only for personal study and trial reading. Please delete it within 24 hours after downloading. Please support subscribing to Genuine Novels and refuse piracy. This novel was first published by Dragon. Feilu's novel internal group 1,142,529,731. More wonderful Feilu novels are in the hands of the group owner. Welcome to the group. They couldn't help but rejoice in their hearts, but fortunately, they didn't take extreme actions and hurt their lives. He was even slightly grateful to Yagami Kingdo. If it weren't for him, his group might have been turned into ashes. There are no traces of existence. Boom! At the same time, the 8 gods Kingdo directly opened the 5th of the 8 gates Dunjia, Dumin Konoha Whirlwind. A terrifying bloodline boundary that deserves careful consideration. Yi King, who was still a little worried, felt relieved when he saw Yagami Kingdo, who was even more terrifying than before. The big brother is so strong. In the past, as long as she released her momentum, any beast would be suppressed. It was the first time that she felt that after she opened the terrifying bloodline limit, her aura was actually suppressed by others. The group of Ronin was frightened one after another, and the whole person was about to collapse. I thought Iori Kingdo was a very powerful child. But only quite powerful. As a result, they were completely shocked at this moment. Where are these 2 9-year-old children? It is simply impossible to measure them with common sense. What's wrong with this world? Are the children of today so scary? Boom! The ground he stepped on shattered, and Yi King's figure disappeared with a whoosh sound. I saw bursts of sonic booms flashing in the air, accompanied by afterimages. Yi King's manipulator scorched, and quickly got close to him, bursting out with all his strength. Boom! The scorching and condensed fireball slammed into the fist of Yagami Kingdo, and an earth-shattering sound broke out. A puff of dust and smoke flashed past, and Iori Kingdo was not only unscathed, he even stretched out his hand and crushed 2 scorching fireballs. The two collided strongly. There were even hurricanes squeezing out from the middle. The ground where they fought shattered inch by inch, and cobweb-like cracks spread out. The Ronin group was immediately swept away and slammed into the big tree in the distance, feeling a burst of blood in their chests. One move didn't work. Yi King launched a brazen offensive again. The hands turned into afterimages, and the scorching fireballs were continuously released, smashing at Yagami Kangdu. The popping sounds continued. Even Yi Kang let go completely. Burning escape released without reservation. Dozens of scorching fireballs suddenly appeared, surrounding Yagami Kangdu, like a scorching sun. Under the control of Yi Kang, the terrifying pressure crazily pressed on Kangdu, the 8 gods. Even the air is distorted visible to the naked eye. Very well, just like this, don't have any reservations, and use your full strength. Yagami Kangdu dodged a lot of scorching fireballs, and even shouted to encourage Yi Kang. With the encouragement, Yi Kang immediately became full of energy. The speed of summoning the scorching fireball is getting faster and faster, and the movement speed is also a lot faster. Ordinary people can't bear this terrible pressure at all, and the Ronin dare not escape, far behind the big tree to avoid being affected. At the same time, some ninjas from Sandian village arrived. They are people from the Anbu of Sandian village, they belong to the vanguard, and they are specially dispatched to keep an eye on the Yagami Kangdu. According to the information, Yagami Kangdu has elite Jonin level strength. Therefore, the Anbu of Sandian village also dispatched an elite Jonin. There are also some strong families in Cheyenne village who felt the huge movement and rushed over. Among them, there are many strong Chunin, and even Shang Ninhans. But the high-end combat power of these battlefields in the past. Facing the battle scene of 2 children. We're stunned. Simply incredible. What's going on with this devastating situation? Who can tell them? 2 children fighting, how could such an amazing fight break out? All eyes on the scene were focused on the 2 children on the battlefield. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "The little boy is Kangdu Yagami, the new captain of Konoha Anbu." The Sanchofish Hanzo contributed to the flames. The news about Yagami Kangdu has long spread throughout the entire ninja world. There are even pictures circulating. Many people have seen the portrait before they recognize Kangdu Yagami. When everyone heard the words, they all looked at it. Compared with the portrait in my memory, I found that it was Yagami Kangdu. The sub-captain of Konoha Anbu, "Stay away from Konoha village, what do you want to do in such a swaggering way to my Sandian village?" The Anbu elite of Sandian village said with a frown. After thinking about it, he didn't understand the purpose of Yagami Kangdu. Currently, 3 generations of Hokage also got the news that Yagami Kangdu came to Sandian village. It just didn't say much, just let it be closely monitored. As long as you don't do anything that will damage the village of Cheyenne, you must not take action. But they also organized several small teams, as many as 3 elite Junin to sit in to prevent accidents. Burning escape fireball bursts. That's when everyone's minds are different. Yi Kang fully erupted. The dense scorching fireballs instantly surrounded Yagami Kangdu. This is the strongest move of Yi Kang Club at present. Horrible oppression. Even the onlookers in the surrounding Cheyenne village couldn't help but be stunned, and their expressions changed drastically. This pressure is terrible. Even if they were only affected, they even felt the fear of death. Not only the weaker Chunin, but even the strong at the upper level, feel the scalp tingling. Is this really a child? Please be yourself. It's too perverted. There are such terrifying children around the village, how come no one in the village knows about it? The people from Cheyenne village secretly looked at Yi Kang, and their faces were vaguely familiar. Only. When the fear that everyone around felt was extremely frightening, it was about to fall on Yagami Kangdu. Yagami Kangdu moved. Lift your feet to the ground. The earth shattered, and the earth and stone splashed. A terrifying shock wave swept from top to bottom, and a whip leg swept out. Doomin Konoha whirlwind. Boom boom boom. Intensive explosions continued to sound. Yi Kang's strongest move, the scorching escape and the burst of fireballs, were instantly disintegrated. Yagami Kangdu's punch and whip swept across, and all the fireballs were kicked into the air and exploded directly. Chapter 27. 3 Generations of Feng, the strongest in all dynasties. Big brother, so strong. Yi Kang was stunned. My most powerful move. I thought it would at least bring a certain threat to Yagami Kangdu. But now. The understatement was kicked away, and it exploded in an instant. Such a situation. Yi King was both surprised and delighted. Even the onlookers around him also widened their eyes. Just now, Yi King erupted in a burst of scorching escape and fireballs. The coercion exuded, even Joinin can feel the threat. Not an exaggeration. If Shangjin is really defenseless against this move. Absolutely irresistible. Even if you don't die, you will be seriously injured. This is the power of the bloodline limit. But even such a terrifying offensive. He was actually kicked by Yagami Kangdu with a whip leg. This is too scary. The Anbu elite Junin of Sandian village woke up and found himself in a cold sweat. I finally understand why the 3 generations of Fengyiang adults are so strict. No matter what Yagami Kanto does, as long as it doesn't threaten the safety of the village, he must not do it. At the time he scoffed. How could a 9-year-old child be an elite Jonin-level powerhouse, let alone a threat to the entire Cheyenne village? But now, he is thankful that he did not act stupidly. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to fight here alive. It's all right. Kicking the scorching fireball, Yagami Kangdu immediately came to Yi King's side and supported her. I'm so weak, I'm so sleepy. Yi King said weakly, am I going to die? How come? This is because of the excessive use of the blood base limit. Go to sleep, just wake up. Gently scratching Yi King's nose, Yagami Kanto explained. When the words fell, the little girl closed her eyes and fell asleep in Yashin Kangdu's arms. The princess hugged Yi King back to the room to rest for a while, and then she had to solve other troubles. 1.5 million wind coins, send someone to deliver it. If you can't see it for half an hour, just use the head to pay off the debt. Yagami Kanto said. Yes, don't worry, my lord. The Ronin leader nodded again and again. Just as he was about to turn around and leave, he heard Yagami Kangdu say, wait, you, come here. Me. Sandian village Chunin, who was hiding behind the big tree, looked back and forth in a daze. When he found that he was alone around, everyone else hid away in an instant, and the speed should not be too fast. Come here, Yagami Kangdu beckoned impatiently. Cheyenne village couldn't bear to be neglected, and hurriedly jumped to Yagami Kangdu's side, politely said, little friend. Oh no, what do you want to tell me? Originally, I wanted to call the children, but when I recalled the scene of the crazy battle just now, Sandian village Chunin suddenly became shocked and changed his words quickly. You stare at him, you can't get back 1.5 million wind coins, so just kill him. Yagami Kangdu said. This, my lord, if you kill people in this village indiscriminately, I will be punished and even deprived of my ninja status. Sand-hidden village Chunin was about to cry. The 3 generations of Kazekage practice benevolent governance and do not allow ninjas to kill innocent people indiscriminately. Then tie it back and I will handle it myself. Yagami Kangdu waved his hand. Yes, my lord. Sand-hidden village Chunin suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, turned around quickly, pressed the Ronin leader and left. Not bad. Not long after, a figure suddenly appeared in the field. As the wind passed by, none of the Shang Nin level characters noticed anything. The Anbu elite of Cheyenne village, who had been hiding in the dark, was keenly aware of it, his eyes widened, and he quickly appeared. See you, Kazekage-sama. What? Lord Fengyiang actually showed up in person. Most of them were surrounded by ninjas from Sandian village. Originally, he wanted to wait for Yi King to wake up, but Kangdu, the 8 gods, stopped when he heard the words. Looking back, I saw a middle-aged man. Blue hair and yellow eyes, wearing a white cape, lined with a blue ninja suit. Seeing the direction in which many ninjas were kneeling around, it was certain that it was the 3rd generation of Kazekage. I didn't expect a character like you to appear in Konoha village. The future is limitless. The 3 generations of Fengyiang looked very kind, taking 2 steps forward with gentle eyes. But before Iori Kangdu could speak, the conversation changed. It's just that this child, after all, is from my Cheyenne village. It's not appropriate for you to take it away like this, right? Is she from Cheyenne village? As far as I know, she has not been naturalized, and her parents have migrated here. Can't you talk about it? Facing the legendary Cage, Yagami Kangdu was not afraid at all. Everyone around was stunned. Is this a newborn calf that is not afraid of tigers? A mere 9-year-old child, even if he can rival the elite Jonin, his attitude is too wild, right? That's a shadow-level powerhouse. Existence far beyond the elite Junin. Hello, be polite. Of course, the people of Sandian village were screaming in their hearts, but they didn't dare to say anything. Having seen the metamorphosis of the 8 gods King Yu, that is, Ying can suppress it. So, I'll give you the chance to take her away. Sandai Mufengying smiled. What do you want? Yagami Kangdu raised his eyebrows. I only have one move. If you can block it, leave with you. I will also send personnel to escort to the border of the country of fire. How about this proposal? 3 generations of Cage said. It's that simple. Iori Kangdu raised his eyebrows, feeling that things were not so simple. HMPH, that's because you don't know the power of Lord Fengying. That's right, Lord Fengying has a special blood-based limit magnetic escape. The destructive power and attack power are amazing, and even the powerhouses of the same level dare not take it hard. Are you crazy? It's easy, don't brag and make people laugh. Hearing the words of Yagami Kangdu, the ninja of Sandian village said boldly. Anyway, Lord Fengying is here, so it's not impossible to keep them, right? How is it? Sandai Cage asked again, as if he didn't hear the words of the people around him. Yes. Yagami Kanto immediately agreed. It just so happened that he also wanted to give it a try. The attack power of the Shadow class was extremely outstanding. How powerful is the 3rd generation of the so-called strongest wind shadow? Boom. In the face of Ying, Yagami Kangdu did not dare to care. Instantly opened the 6th, Jingmun towards the peacock. The whole body is covered with energy film, exuding amazing momentum. Not that Yagami Kangdu doesn't want to use Jingmun Day Tiger, but that it has greatly exceeded the limit of physical safety. If you are not careful, you may be attacked. Therefore, it is not a life and death crisis, there is no need to use it. Yagami Kangdu wouldn't be able to use it either. Let's get started. Prepare for defense, Yagami Kangdu raised his eyebrows and said. Magic done sand and iron rain. The storm suddenly rose, and the spiral in mid-air continued, summoning the sand and iron-like waves out of thin air. In an instant, the iron sand formed countless fine needles visible to the naked eye, flashing with a dangerous cold glow. When everything is ready, a huge amount of fine needles-like waves swept away toward Yashin Kangdu. Sand Iron Shiu's attack range is very large, and it lasts for a long time, making it difficult to avoid. At the same time, it also has extremely powerful lethality. Chapter 28, Conspirator Shimura Danzo. Yagami Kangdu felt the pressure for the first time, but he smiled. As expected of a shadow-level powerhouse, he has already understood the gap between himself and the shadow. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang. From the ground where Yagami Kangdu was originally fighting, there was a deep cave-in. The cobweb-like cracks continued to spread out for hundreds of meters. The afterimage of Yagami Kangdu kept rubbing in the air, erupting a monstrous flame, comparable to a B-class fire escape. Facing the thin needles formed by the sand and iron in the sky, Yagami Kangdu chose the front hard steel. This made the jaws of the surrounding Cheyenne village ninjas almost drop to the ground in surprise. That kid. Everyone was stunned, never thought that anyone would dare to meet the bloodline limit of the 3 generations of Mifengying like this. That terrifying oppressive force is terrifying from a distance. Even the elite Junin of Sandian village felt dizzy when looking at the dense needles. He is confident that he can survive this move, but he will be seriously injured. The premise is that you also need to do everything you can to avoid it. If it is directly hard steel like Yagami Kangdu, he can't. Must die. The power of the shadow is absolutely beyond imagination. Boom boom boom. Intensive explosions are continuous, and dust and smoke are everywhere. Yagami Kangdu's figure was completely wrapped, and there was no sound. It's over, this kid is too big. That's a shadow, I don't know if I am going to challenge Lord Sandemu. This incident tells us that we can't be too arrogant. The ninjas of Sandian village talked about their origins and vented their inner tension. Just thinking about being frightened by a 9-year-old just now makes me feel ashamed. Now, I can finally vent. No, look at it. Suddenly, someone exclaimed and pointed not far away. The smoke began to fade, and a figure appeared. What? Soon, the unscathed Yagami Kangdu revealed his figure. Apart from the fact that his hair was ruffled by the violent explosion shock wave, there was no other injury at all. The 3 generations of Mu Fengying saw this, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Thinking that Yagami Kangdu could resist this move, he didn't expect such an understatement. Unscathed. Is his Fengying shameless? Helplessly shook his head and said nothing. The 3 generations of Fengying turned into an afterimage and left. The surrounding Sheian village ninjas looked at each other in dismay, and hurriedly fled. For fear that the taunts just now would be heard by Kangdu Yagami and beat them with blood. So strong. After everyone left, Yagami Kangdu shook his aching arm and couldn't help sighing. Just now, relying on the super recovery of the immortal human body, he opened the Jingmunde Tiger for a moment. But even so, he was still injured by the rain of sand and iron. If it weren't for the terrifying resilience of the immortal human body, I'm afraid people would see clues. After all, he is a shadow-level powerhouse, and Yagami Kangdu is confident in himself, but he is not blindly confident. If the 3 generations of Mi Fengying go all out, he will not be able to hold it for a while. Sure enough, the current self is still too weak. With a sigh, Yagami Kangdu walked towards the house and came to Yi Kang's side. If his self-deprecating words were heard, they would surely think that he was pretending to be the best in the world. The 9-year-old elite Jonin, facing the sand and iron Shiyu of the 3 generations of Kazekage. Gee. It's a pervert at all, it's a monster, okay. Is that weak? So what are they? A pile of scum. Soon, Yi King woke up, and the Ronin leader also brought back 1.5 million wind coins. Leading Yi King and her grandmother, escorted by Konoha Anbu all the way back to Konoha village. With the authority of Yagami Kangdu, Yi King successfully entered Konoha Anbu and became the first intern. The exclusive Yagami Kangta detachment does not enter the file, and has obtained the permission of Sarutobi Hyjin. The happiest is none other than Uzumaki Kushina. Yagami Kangdu was always busy and didn't have much time to accompany her. Now that Yi King, who is about the same age, has a topic of conversation. The most terrifying thing is that they have a common belief. We must strengthen our strength so that we can stand by Yagami Kanto in the future. Rather than being able to hold back because of lack of strength. After returning to Konoha village, of course, he also responded to the inquiries from Jiraiya and others. However, the fact that Yi King had a clean background and possessed a burning escape also told Sarutobi Hyjin. After some investigation by Anbu, after confirming that there is no problem, Yi King also successfully naturalized and became a member of Konoha village. For several days, Uzumaki Kushina and Yi King were holding Yagami Kanto to practice their abilities. One has a large amount of chakra and can release fire ninjutsu indefinitely, as long as the spirit can support it. A talented scorching escape talent, the two complement each other, and the power has been greatly improved. After the improvement of Yagami Kangdu, the tacit understanding after the two fought together, the strength has been comparable to the General Junin. Of course, this is limited to attack power. There is still a big gap to keep up with their reflexes, control and chakra levels. Once a protracted battle is waged, they will surely lose. But a 9-year-old child, who can do this to such an extent, is already proud enough. It's just that the target they are chasing is Yagami Kangdu, and the attack power of ordinary Junin is still too weak. The two girls practiced day and night and were full of energy. Yagami Kangdu wanted to say something, but found that there was no reason to dissuade him, so he let it go. Captain, we have a mission. On this day, as soon as Yagami Kangdu returned to his hut to sleep, the members of the Dark Army came to the door. A traitor appears in the Uchiha family, unite with Yuyan village, and prepare to attack us. The Dark Troops said cautiously. Iori Kangdu suddenly regained his energy, and raised his brows slightly. The whole Uchiha clan is involved. According to the development of the plot, it should not be so fast. No, it's your classmate, Uchiha Makoto's father, who is dissatisfied with the village's mistreatment of the Uchiha clan and made an assertion. Members of Anbu shook their heads and explained, it is said that he has been expelled from the family, and even the Uchiha family has issued a wanted order to kill him. What is our mission? Yagami Soto asked. He is going to contact the people of Yuyan village tonight. According to the information, it is near the country of Chuan. Our task is to control him and bring him back to the village for trial. Anbu member said. This matter, who else but us? Yagami Kangdu was thoughtful. Our mission is directly assigned by Hokage-sama. In addition, Danzo-sama also sent a team to go there. Anbu members said honestly. Sure enough, it coincides with Yagami Kanto's idea. Shimura Danzo must be involved in this matter. For the Uchiha family, Danzo wants to destroy them all the time. Chapter 29. The First Mission, a Surprise. Whoosh whoosh. At night, in the dense forest, several figures galloped like ghosts. Captain, continue to move towards the southwest, it will be there in a moment. Anbu member reminded. Slow down, approach quietly, don't let the target notice. Yagami Kangdu waved his hand. The 5 Anbu members suddenly slowed down, leapt gently, and continued to move forward. Soon, everyone came to the border between the country of fire and the country of Sichuan. Looking around, there is a sneaky figure looming by the river. Don't scare the snake. Iori Kangdu waved his hand and commanded softly. Boom. Unexpectedly, the next moment, a huge fireball appeared out of thin air, smashed to the ground, and a huge explosion occurred. People from the Uchiha clan. Yagami Kangdu's eyes flashed, and when he turned around, he found a Uchiha clansman with a fan icon behind him. The dust and smoke dissipated, and the original sneaky figure had long since disappeared. Yagami Kangdu rolled his eyes instantly, looked around, and suddenly found a figure running on his right. You guys here, don't let anyone come over. When the words fell, Yagami Kangdu moved at a high speed. Open the third, after Shungman Lilianwa, the speed skyrocketed, and soon caught up with the sneaky figure. Boom. Yagami Kangdu threw a punch, and the sneaky figure immediately turned back to fight back. There was severe wind pressure between the two, and the sneaky figure hurriedly fought back. A gust of wind passed, and Yagami Kangdu came to the sneaky figure. Just as he was about to start, he heard the sneaky figure hurriedly say, "Wait." The waving fist fell temporarily, and Yagami Kangdu quietly watched the sneaky figure. I know you, Yagami Kangdu, the most talented evildoer in the history of Konoha Ninja Village. The sneaky figure took off the hood that covered his face, there was blood on the corner of his mouth, and he made a miserable voice. Iori Kangdu looked indifferent and did not respond. Judging from the face of the sneaky figure, it is very similar to Uchiha Makoto. Come to think of it, it is his father Uchiha Hirakawa. I've heard about you, even you are willing to be Danzo's lackey and act for him. Uchiha Hirakawa said. It has nothing to do with Danzo, I just received an order from the old man of the third generation. Yagami Kangdu shrugged, but he didn't hide it. You defected to Konoha and wanted to unite with Yuyan village, I was ordered to come and take you back to the village. Yagami Kangdu said. Defecting Konoha, United Yuyin Village. Danzo is really a good plan, a good plan. Uchiha Hirakawa looked straight at Iori Kangta. Hee, I should have thought of it earlier, I'm so stupid. Actually believed Danzo's nonsense and stepped into his trap. Uchiha Hirakawa suddenly had a ferocious face, and smashed the ground with his fist hammer, dripping with blood. I won't go with you, just kill me. After a long while, Uchiha Hirakawa finished venting, and bowed his head and said, once he returns to the village, he will definitely be used by Danzo to deal with the entire Uchiha clan. Even if it is death, he can only die outside. The purpose of the Uchiha clan who suddenly attacked just now is exactly the same. My duty is to take you back to the village. Yagami Kangdu was indifferent and uncompromising. Uchiha Hirakawa's eyes flashed with determination. Then I will do it myself. Clang. Just as Uchiha Hirakawa was about to take out his shuriken and pierced his throat to commit suicide, he was immediately kicked away by Yagami Kangdu. Don't you want revenge? Yagami Kangdu suddenly asked. Danzo is scheming, you will not be his opponent. Uchiha Hirakawa said. For a moment, he was indeed full of hope. 9-year-old elite Junin is unheard of. But Yagami Kangdu is too young and has no team of his own. If you want to deal with the deep-rooted Danzo, there is nothing you can do. You don't have to worry about what I do, just answer whether you want it or not. Of course, if you insist on seeking death, I can kill you now. However, the situation of Uchiha Makoto in the family will be difficult. Yagami Kangdu took out his shuriken and revealed his murderous intent, not like a joke at all. Hearing Uchiha Makoto's name, Uchiha Hirakawa's eyes flashed a trace of struggle. What are your conditions? Uchiha Hirakawa finally made up his mind. Joining Anbu. Since then, I have no name, only a code number 1. Your only task is to secretly search for the evidence of the village's hidden betrayal for me. Yagami Kangdu was well prepared and said, I will take Uchiha Makoto out of the Uchiha clan, so that you will have no worries. Are you sure? Uchiha Hirakawa asked. It is bound to be one. Yagami Kangdu responded. He knew what Uchiha Hirakawa was asking. Danzo, this old coin, can do anything in order to sit on the Naruto throne. Once discovered, Yagami Kangta stood on the opposite side of him and would definitely deal with it at all costs. But compared to the threat of Danzo, the value of the entire Uchiha family is obviously greater. Destroy the Uchiha clan. Yagami Kangdu had no such plans. Instead of perishing, why not gradually erode, gather, and use it for one's own use? When he first watched Hokage, he felt that Sarutobi Hizen was too stupid. This will make Danzo unscrupulous, and eventually the entire Uchiha clan will be exterminated. The Uchiha family does have a different heart, but they also have incredible strength. Instead of forcing them to rebel, destroying them and taking them for themselves is the best way. Of course, the premise is that there is enough strength to suppress. Sarutobi Hizen did not have such confidence, but Yagami Aoto did. How do you want me to trust you? Uchiha Hirakawa asked. Iori Kangdu frowned. How can this be proved? It's easy, just play with me. Uchiha Hirakawa then said, if you beat me, I can also give you the evidence that Danzo betrayed the village in my hand. Huh. Fighting and killing. In fact, Yagami Kangdu doesn't like it very much. But there are benefits to take, and that's another story. Yes. Yagami Kanto nodded. Uchiha Hirakawa nodded, then the next thing would be easier to handle. Whether it is infiltrating the Uchiha clan, or dealing with Danzo, there is a certain bargaining chip. Even Uchiha Makoto. Mr. Fuyu, I'm sorry. Uchiha Hirakawa adjusted his breath for a while Yagami Kanto stood quietly opposite. I won't keep it, Uchiha Hirakawa said. Yagami Kanto nodded. Boom. In the blink of an eye, the two burst out with momentum and collided. Chapter 30. Mission accomplished, conspiracy to hide. Terrible wind pressure swept out from the middle of the two, almost affecting the entire forest. The ground shattered, earth and rocks splashed, and even trees were uprooted. The terrifying wind pressure is overwhelming, like the end of the world. Writing round eyes, open. Uchiha Hirakawa let out a loud shout, and his eyes suddenly turned crimson, and the three-wheeled Guyu spun on them. The illusion is coming, trying to confuse the 8 gods Kangdu. Fire escape howling fireball technique. At the same time, a huge fireball was exhaled from the throat. The surrounding flowers and plants dried up in an instant, and the heat waves swept through, shrouding the Yagami Kangdu. Yagami Kangdu did not advance but retreated. 5th, Duman Konoha Cyclone opened. A whip leg was thrown out, facing the terrifying fireball. Boom! The fireball burst, and sparks sputtered all over the ground. It's not over yet. Uchiha Hirakawa's offensive came again, and his straight fist slammed into Yagami Kangdu's abdomen. Once hit, it is bound to lose the ability to move for a short time. Bang! Yagami Kangdu hurriedly punched out, and the fists collided. The terrifying wind pressure swept through again, but it was too concentrated, the ground shattered even more, and the ground shook. The radius of the collision between the two was dozens of meters, and it completely collapsed. Anbu and the others who were entangled in the distance also looked in this direction in horror. So strong. With such a huge movement, what kind of powerhouse should it be fighting? Is this the true strength of the captain? It's scary. For the first time, the members of Yagami Soto's Dark Division team felt the terror of their captain. Even the inhabitants of the river country were awakened from their sleep by the huge movement. Looking at the smoke in the distance, I was horrified. The battle between Yagami Kangdu and Uchiha Hirakawa continues. The two are evenly matched and have contacts with each other. Uchiha Hirakawa knew that Yagami Kangdu's physical skills were very powerful, and he didn't fight at close range at all. From time to time, I use the Shaker Eye to perform illusions, supplemented by a terrifying fire escape. All kinds of skilled articulation of Wheel Eye illusion and fire escape ninjutsu made Yagami Kangdu unable to approach him in a short time, and naturally he could not take him down. But the longer it took, the more terrified Uchiha Hirakawa became. Whether it is to cast the Wheel Eye or the fire escape, it will cost a lot of chakra. But by now, he was out of breath, and Yagami Kangdu seemed to be fine. His face was not red, and he was not breathing. You're careless. Just when Uchiha Hirakawa was shocked by Yagami Kangdu's fighting power, he punched him in the abdomen vigorously. The unsuspecting Uchiha Hirakawa. The whole person flew out uncontrollably, and hit the ground with a boom. The soil and stones splashed, and he fell deeply into the soil. 15 minutes of battle. The final result ended with the defeat of Uchiha Hirakawa. Collapsing to the ground, Uchiha Hirakawa was pale and gasping for breath. He has tried his best, and the chakra is almost exhausted. Unexpectedly, even so, he was not able to hurt Yagami Kangdu in the slightest. However, that doesn't matter. Even if he lost, it made Uchiha Hirakawa even happier. The stronger the Yagami Kangdu, the greater his hope of revenge. Very good, you are really strong. After regaining some strength, Uchiha Hirakawa couldn't help but praise. Enough to prove it. Yagami Kangdu smiled. Enough. Uchiha Hirakawa nodded. Are you really only 9 years old? It's really hard to imagine. After all, he is also an elite Junin, and he is also a famous master of the Uchiha clan. But in the face of Yagami Kangdu, he has a feeling of powerlessness. No, if I remember correctly, the intelligence said that you have opened at least 6 of the 8 doors. Suddenly, Uchiha Hirakawa blurted out as if thinking of something. Yagami Kangdu nodded and did not deny it. Uchiha Hirakawa smiled bitterly. Not only did you lose, but also when others didn't do their best. The 5th door is so easy to abuse yourself. If you open the 6th door, then what? Impressed. Uchiha Hirakawa was completely convinced. In recent years, the friction with the Kingdom of Thunder has caused us to lose a lot of strong people, many of whom were Sharingan. Taking a deep breath, Uchiha Hirakawa began to fulfill his promise. Without exception, they are all those who oppose Danzo's policy. According to the information I have obtained, Danzo has close contacts with Zu Libuliu, the current eight-tailed person, which may be the medium for contacting the senior management of Union Village. Bulubi, ya-tailed Yuri. Yagami Kangdu heard the words and muttered to himself. In addition, if you want me to work for you, you need to promise me a condition. Uchiha Hirakawa said. You have no room for bargaining, and I'll kill you if it's a big deal. Yagami Kangdu's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Don't get me wrong, it's just a little effort. My condition is that you protect my daughter, Uchiha Makoto. Uchiha Hirakawa spoke quickly, for fear that Yagami Kangdu would misunderstand. Protect your daughter. Yagami Kangdu was puzzled. Yes, you have to take her by your side and keep her safe. Then, my life is yours. Uchiha Hirakawa said with a serious face. It's that simple. I was going to die just now, but agreeing so easily now makes Iori Kangdu suspicious. Makoto's mother passed away early. I'm just such a daughter. If I didn't want her to become a victim of the power whirlpool of the family's top leaders, how could I have stepped into Danzo's trap? It turned out that the reason why Uchiha Hirakawa took the risk was to oppose Uchiha Makoto's marriage. In order for Uchiha Fuyu to serve as the next patriarch, his father wanted to unite with Uchiha Hirakawa and use Uchiha Makoto as a bargaining chip. Okay, I promise you, I will protect Uchiha Makoto. Yagami Kangdu thought for a while, then nodded. This is not difficult. As long as he is in Konoha, he thought, no one can hurt the person he wants to protect. Number 1, see the master. Uchiha Hirakawa immediately knelt down on one knee and quickly entered his role. Release the shadow clone, leave the coat, and then go to the land of thunder first. I will go soon. Yagami Kangdu ordered directly. Uchiha Hirakawa didn't ask why, released the clone of the shadow, and quickly turned away. Yagami Kangdu waited for a short while, when he heard a shrill voice coming quickly from a distance. Move your hands together. A terrifying shock wave slammed on Uchiha Hirakawa's shadow avatar, and the ground collapsed, and the scene was extremely shocking. The members of Anbu, who just arrived, were stunned when they saw this scene. Captain, sorry, we really can't stop it. Yagami Kanto's team members reported. Iori Kangdu. At the same time, another team of Anbu members jumped over. On the order of Danzo-sama, I came to arrest Uchiha Hirakawa. Where are the others? Asked the captain of the dark section sent by Danzo. Yagami Kangdu didn't bother to respond at all, waved his hand, and led the team back to the village. Damn, how dare this kid ignore the captain so much? When someone saw Yagami Kangdu being so rude, they clenched their fists and felt indignant. The captain of the regiment's dark part stretched out his hand to block it and shook his head. It is important to carry out the task of your lord. He was also flustered. He had seen the horror of Yagami Kangdu with his own eyes. People like me dare to provoke, but they are not enough to get in their teeth. Chapter 31. Fulfill the promise and go to the Uchiha clan. Going forward to check, there are only dark pits. There were broken clothing residues on it, as well as a blood spit out by Uchiha Hirakawa. The clothes residue mixed with blood was quickly taken back by the members of Anbu. Konoha Village, Danzo office. My lord, this is what happened, and this is the only thing left at the scene. The leader of the dark part handed the blood-stained clothes residue to Shimura Danzo. After inspection, it is indeed Uchiha Hirakawa. The captain of the dark part immediately said again. Danzo nodded thoughtfully, and then said, I see, you go down. The captain of the dark part left quickly. At the same time, behind Danzo, a ghost appeared silently. Danzo was not surprised and ordered, contact him and say that another prey has arrived. The words were inexplicable, but the shadow quickly responded, yes. turn around and disappear. In a competition, Uchiha Hirakawa was willing to erase all his identities and became the intelligence officer of Yagami Kangdo. So far, Yagami Kangdo has taken the first step in cultivating the team. Back in the village, everything is fine. Early the next morning, Yagami Soto went to the Uchiha family to fulfill the promise. By the way, there are follower bugs burning escape Yi-King. Uzumaki Kushina was taken away by Jiraiya, and the nine-tailed Manzuli needed to reinforce the seal every once in a while. Kangdo, why did you come here? On the way, I happened to meet Uchiha Fuyu who was going out. Little sister is so cute. Yi-King didn't say anything, and shyly hid behind Yagami Kangdo. He grabbed the hem of his clothes and buried his head deeply. Uchiha Fuyu smiled kindly and didn't care. I'm here for something. The 8 gods Kangdo Dao. There is only the Uchiha family stationed here. Have you come to the wrong place? Uchiha Fuyu asked suspiciously. I haven't heard that Yagami Kangdo has anything to do with his family. I came to take Uchiha Makoto away. Yagami Kangdo didn't want to say it at first, but after thinking about it, he finally said it. There's no need to hide it anyway. What did you say? Uchiha Fuyu's pupils shrank, and a shocked voice blurted out. Before waiting for Yagami Kangdo to respond, Uchiha Fuyu said again, don't get involved in this matter, it will not benefit you. Helpless smile. In fact, today's Uchiha Fuyu is also involuntarily. Even after he became the patriarch, many decisions were beyond his control. Otherwise, the Uchiha clan would not have been annihilated. If you want to stop me, no problem, just beat me. Iori Kangdo is bound to win, he said seriously. Are you really going to keep doing this? Uchiha Fugaku's pupils shrank slightly. Yes. Good. Hearing Yagami Kangdo's answer, Uchiha Fuyu also made up his mind, I'll help you. Actually, I don't like this arranged marriage either. It's unfair to Sister Makoto. Seemingly seeing the doubts on Yagami Kangdo's face, Uchiha Fuyu explained with a wry smile. He is destined to be the puppet of the family. After all, he is in the direct line of the patriarch, and he was born that way. But Uchiha Makoto has the right to choose. She is still young and should not be buried in the whirlpool of the family's high-level struggle for power. Uchiha Fuyu led the way, followed by Yagami Kangdo. Wherever they passed, many people greeted Uchiha Fugaku. The signal is obvious, as long as he marries Uchiha Makoto, it won't be long before the Uchiha patriarch will fall on his head. Most people don't know the Yagami Soto who follows him. I just thought it was the child of a friend of Uchiha Fuyu, and I didn't care. Going straight all the way, Uchiha Fuyu went straight into the conference room of the Uchiha family. At this moment, in the conference room, high-level officials just gathered to discuss Uchiha Hirakawa's defection. And, the wedding of Uchiha Makoto and Uchiha Fugaku. Fuyu, why is there no big or small? Don't you know we're having a meeting? As soon as the door opened, the first middle-aged man who looked somewhat similar to Uchiha Fuyu immediately scolded. Father, everyone just happened to be here, and I have something to say. Uchiha Fuyu summoned his courage and did not back down. What's so urgent? A group of elders are here, you are no big or small, how will you lead my Uchiha clan to become stronger in the future? Fuyu's father scolded coldly. Okay, Fuyu has always been measured in things, just listen and see what he wants to say. At this time, an old man with gray hair and sitting in the first place spoke up. He is the great elder of the Uchiha clan, and many decisions require his approval. Seeing the elders speak, Uchiha Fuyu looked at everyone in the conference room. Facing their doubtful eyes, he said amazingly, I reject this marriage, there is at least one thing in my life, I hope I can be the master. Having said that, Uchiha Fuyu is not as heavy as he imagined, but is extremely happy. This matter has been in his heart for too long, and the pressure is really too great. Bastard, what are you talking about? Your brain is broken. Get out of here, and I won't teach you a good lesson afterwards." Fuyu's father suddenly burst out. Furious. This is all to pave the way for him to become the patriarch, and I have never seen such a foolish child. I have already decided that it is useless for you to persecute. Uchiha Fuyu bite the bullet and talked back to his father for the first time ever. You, evil son, how did I give birth to such a bad boy?" Fuyu's father was going crazy. If it wasn't for too many people at the scene, I'm afraid going up would be a fat beating. "Fuyu, can I know why?" the chief elder of the Uchiha clan asked. "You clearly agreed before, why did you suddenly regret it?" His face was calm, not angry. "I know about Uncle Hirakawa. Sister Makoto shouldn't have suffered such a thing, and I don't want everything to be controlled," Uchiha Fuyu explained. "Son, there are some things you don't understand yet. But know that we won't hurt you, everything is for your own good." Elder followed suit. "We regret the matter of Pingchuan, but it was also a choice he made in a moment of confusion. No one can blame others. As the son of the patriarch, you have to shoulder more, don't be self-willed." But, after a few words, Uchiha Fuyu was speechless and was about to speak, but was interrupted. "If you don't marry Makoto, do you know what her situation will be in the future? We can't justify anything for her. After all, Hirakawa did something wrong and should be punished." Elder continued, "Only if you marry Makoto, she will have a place in the clan. Otherwise, it will be a difficult life. Can you bear it? She is just a child." Clap clap clap. Suddenly, applause resounded through the conference room. The first elder said in such an eloquent manner that people who didn't know it would almost cry. "Look, the determination that Uchiha Fuyu just made has been disintegrated." Yagami Kanto was originally blocked by Uchiha Fugaku, so he did not see him. At this moment, he stood up in particular, and instantly got everyone's attention. Chapter 32, Brother Kangdo's name, are you worthy of mentioning it? Iori Kangdo, what are you doing here? This is my Uchiha clan's land, discussing clan secrets, you are so bold. Suddenly, someone screamed in anger. Previously, Uchiha was defeated in the hands of Yagami Kangdo, and the Uchiha clansmen were already very unconvinced. Helpless, it was an open and fair competition, and they couldn't take revenge for it. Coupled with the talent displayed by Yagami Aoto, Sarutobi Hizen paid great attention to him, and no one dared to do it at all. Once someone loses his mind, it is likely to drag the Uchiha family into the abyss of death. However, if Yagami Kangdo took the initiative to pick things up, the situation would be different. Kangdo, he is the younger brother of the elder you defeated last time, the 8th elder in the clan. Uchiha Fuyu's eyelids jumped, and he quickly explained to Yagami Kangdo. HMPH. Do you really think that with Hokage-sama or you can do whatever you want? The arrogant 8th Uchiha elder immediately stood up and looked at Iori Kangdo angrily. The reason why you are a genius, you must be able to grow up. Elite Junin is not qualified to be presumptuous in my Uchiha clan. When the words fell, the people of the Uchiha clan all looked at Yagami Kangdo. Although he didn't say anything, his bad eyes were very obvious. Even, the Uchiha clan began to gather around when they heard the movement. A large group of people surrounded Yagami Kanto and Uchiha Fugaku, forming a sharp contrast. Kangdo, why don't we leave today? Uchiha Fuyu suddenly panicked, but he didn't care, but he didn't want to hurt Yagami Kangdo. Now, apologize and retire obediently, I don't care about you as a kid. At the same time, the 8th elder of the Uchiha clan took a step forward and said aggressively to the 8 gods Kangdo. 8th elder, Kangdo didn't do anything, are you going too far? Uchiha Fuyu is angry, this is simply robbery. From beginning to end, Yagami Kangdo never did anything out of the ordinary. If my brother loses in the battle, it is also not strong enough. How can he take the opportunity to avenge his personal revenge? Fuyu, are you going to turn your elbows outside? The 8 elders of Uchiha narrowed his eyes slightly, and immediately buckled a bucket of shit. You. Just as he was about to refute, he saw Yagami Kangdu stretched out his arm and stopped Uchiha Fugaku. Humph. It seems that you refuse to agree, then I will teach you a lesson today. Give it to me. The 8th elder Uchiha snorted coldly, waved his hand, and rushed up unreasonably. Surrounded by Uchiha people. Outnumbered, Yagami Kangdu is at an absolute disadvantage. Unfortunately. The Naruto world has never been a world where many people represent a powerful world. There was a terrifying hot breath in the air. Yi King actually took the lead. After a period of rest, her body has fully recovered. Coupled with Yagami Kangdu's targeted training, the control of his own power has also been greatly improved. Hearing that the 8 elders of Uchiha were farting all the time, Yi King couldn't help but want to teach him a lesson. At this moment, they actually dared to be the first to act rudely. It's just looking for death. You dare to be so arrogant to Brother Kangdu, you should all fight. Yi King was like an angry little tiger. Dozens of scorching fireballs were instantly summoned, causing the entire conference room to be emptied of oxygen almost instantly. Everyone felt a sense of suffocation, and many Uchiha executives even smashed the fireball. Once it explodes in a confined and narrow space, the consequences are unimaginable. But Yi King's original goal was not to kill, but to teach him a lesson. The ordinary people of the Uchiha family who turned around and leaned over, ready to do it. Punch and kick. Wherever he went, no one was Yi King's opponent. At the beginning, Uchiha Fuyu wanted to stop him. After all, he couldn't make the family suffer heavy losses. But seeing Yi King was just a lesson, the Uchiha people who fell to the ground were not in danger, so they just let it go. Indeed, these arbitrary people deserve to be taught a lesson. Seeing his own clansmen being beaten to the ground, the 8th elder Uchiha was angry and wanted to do it himself. Get out of the way. If you beat the young, naturally the old must come out to save face. The Uchiha clansmen stepped aside one after another, quickly helped the clansmen who fell to the ground, and made way for a large open space. The 8th elder Uchiha looked at Yi King with a sneer and sneered, "A little girl who comes out of nowhere has the same virtue as some people, it's all uneducated." Bang! A complete sentence is not finished. Yi King's body flashed, and a scorching fireball was directly attached to his chest. Boom! A huge explosion sounded, and the 8 elders of Uchiha fell and flew out. The clothes were broken, the hair was messy, and the whole person was extremely embarrassed. But it's not over yet. Yi King quickly followed, and one fireball after another was smashed out. Boom! 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 The continuous explosion made the ground sink deeply. The 8 elders of Uchiha were embedded in it, and it was difficult for him to come out on his own. Seeing that the other party fainted, Yi King got up coldly, "Just because you are worthy of mentioning Brother Kangdo's name." Saying that, he turned back. Surrounding the surrounding Uchiha clan. Seeing that even the 8th elders have no power to fight back, the Uchiha clansmen dare to step forward. Quickly back away, far away from Yi King. If it wasn't for the other elders and patriarchs still here, and this is their clan's land, I'm afraid they would have disappeared long ago. Say I can, but if you say Brother Kangdo, just ask the fireball in my hand if he agrees or not. Looking around coldly, Yi King was not at all timid even when he met the gazes of the old group Uchiha and the others. In the past, Yi King, who was relying on Yagami Kangdu like a kitten, was like a schizophrenic. The huge movement even disturbed Uchiha Makoto. Ben locked himself in the room because of the grief of his father's disappearance. But the movement caused by Yi King was too great. The smoke billowed out, and it was hard not to notice. What happened? Quickly came to the scene and crossed the crowd, Uchiha Makoto saw an incredible scene. In the past, the 8th elder, who was aloof, actually lay in a deep pit, unconscious. He was covered in blood, and although he was still alive, he was definitely seriously injured. Iori Kangdu, what exactly do you want to do? Uchiha Fugaku's father held back his anger and spoke out. It's very simple, take Uchiha Makoto away, and from now on, she will be taken care of by me. Yagami Kanto said calmly. Impossible, change the condition, let you propose it. Fuyu's father rejected it on the spot, but it was a step back. Can teach Yagami Kangdu, but absolutely cannot kill. There are too many people, no reason, and no way. But if you want to subdue such a pervert, the ghost knows how the Uchiha clan will be beaten. For the sake of the family, Fuyu's father could only choose to compromise. Chapter 33, Uchiha Makoto's Decision. Nothing, just Uchiha Makoto. Yagami Kangdu repeated again, his tone unquestionable. No negotiation. Fuyu's father's eyes were furious, and his heart was uncertain. The group of elders also changed their minds rapidly, thinking about how to solve this matter. Meanwhile, the Hokage office. Lord Hokage, the captain is making a fuss about the Uchiha clan. It seems like a fight has started. The members of the Anbu department got the information and quickly came to report. Kangdo, make trouble with the Uchiha clan. What's the reason? Sarutobi Hizen suddenly got up. It seems that the captain is going to take Uchiha Makoto away. Anbu members answered honestly. What the hell is this kid doing? Sarutobi Hizen was stunned for a moment and smiled helplessly. He thought he had a grudge with the Uchiha family, which made him nervous. How about it, who of you are going? It just so happened that Jiraiya, Tsunade Haim, and Orochimaru were all there, and Hiruzen Sarutobi smoked a cigarette and asked directly. I'll go, after all, it's the talent I discovered. HMPH, it's better for the Uchiha family not to hurt Kangdu, or I'll never finish with them. Zillai also snorted coldly and quickly turned to leave. This guy is walking very fast. Tsunadeji helped her forehead helplessly, she also wanted to go. Orochimaru's eyes flashed, but he didn't say anything, and he didn't have any expression. But from his subconscious half-turning action, he can also see the true thoughts in his heart. It's a pity that it was preempted by Jiraiya. It's not negotiable. Yagami Kangdu looked at Uchiha's top executives with firm eyes. Why? Uchiha Makoto came out of the crowd and came to Yagami Kanto. Why do you do this to me? Yagami Kanto turned back and looked at Uchiha Makoto, tears welling in her eyes. She has not yet come out of the sadness of her father. Why did some people risk their lives for her? She also heard what her father had done. After that, she couldn't raise her head in the whole Uchiha and even the whole Konoha. Compared to Naruto, he is regarded as a monster because of his power. Uchiha Makoto's situation will be even more difficult. But this is the case, why did Yagami Kangdu have to bear such a huge pressure to regret the entire Uchiha clan? Your father is not dead, believe me, just follow me, and I will protect you in the future. If you refuse, I will do my best, and it's up to you to choose. Leaning to Uchiha Makoto's side, Yagami Aoto whispered. Don't make a sound, or your father will surely die. Uchiha Makoto's eyes widened, and just as she was about to exclaim, she heard Yagami Ongta's warning. At the same time, seeing the appearance of Uchiha Makoto, the elder Uchiha flashed a plan. Iori Kangdu, there is no grudge between us about this matter today. I don't know why you want to take Makoto away, but as long as it doesn't hurt her, it's not impossible. The elder Uchiha suddenly said. Facing the astonished gazes of the people around him, he continued, but no matter what, we are always outsiders in this matter, and everything has to be decided by this child. Makoto, are you right? When the surrounding Uchiha clansmen heard the words, they were suddenly stunned. The big elder is indeed a good strategy. It seems that the right to choose is handed over to Uchiha Makoto, and she also shows her loving side. But in fact, such a result will only embarrass Uchiha Makoto. If you don't leave, the situation that you stay behind may be regarded as the sacrifice of the family. Go, bear the name of betraying the family, and can't get along in Konoha village. Either choice is extremely difficult and completely useless. I have to say, this strategy is a no-brainer. If she didn't know that her father was still alive, Uchiha Makoto might choose to stay in the Uchiha clan instead of dragging down the Yagami Kangdu. Their humiliation. But since his father is still alive, and only Yagami Kanto knows such a secret, obviously, there was something she didn't know. That it may be a gamble that weighs on life. Afraid. A 9-year-old child is impossible not to be afraid. But looking at Yagami Kangdu's eyes, Uchiha Makoto felt at ease for no reason. No matter what decision Makoto makes, you will not obstruct, and will not interfere with your life in the future, right? Yagami Kanto looked at the elder Uchiha and said with a smile. Yes, with the honor of my Uchiha clan. The elder Uchiha seemed very confident. He believed in his own judgment, and believed that Uchiha Makoto would make the same choice as he imagined. Then Makoto, tell them what your decision is. Yagami Aoto looked at Uchiha Makoto. Woo. Taking a deep breath, Uchiha Makoto raised her head and raised her chest. Looking around, facing the eyes of many clansmen, he said, I'll go with Brother Kangdu. Hi. Immediately, there were bursts of cold breaths coming from the surroundings. No one could have imagined that Uchiha Makoto would actually make such a decision. She thought it was a sure thing, she would never leave with Yagami Kangdu. But now, even the elder Uchiha's complexion changed greatly, which was different from what he expected. Let's go. Iori Aoto ignored the emotions of everyone in Uchiha, nodded at Uchiha Makoto, and then went outside. Wait. Just as he turned around, the voice of the elder Uchiha came again. Are you going to regret it? Yagami Kangdu turned his head, his face was not good. He doesn't like when others go back on their word. Even in the Uchiha clan, other people's territory, it's a big deal to do it. The elder Uchiha hesitated. He wanted to regret it. But with all the eyes on it, how can you go back on it? How can the Uchiha family's oath of honor be easily broken? Big brother is a Hokage-sama, do you look down on yourself too much? It was at this time that an old man with a ferocious expression stood up. Uchiha Fuyu's pupils shrank slightly and reminded in a low voice, Kangdo, this is enough, let's go. This person is the third elder of our clan, the strongest fighting force in the clan. Although he is still an elite Jonin, his strength is infinitely close to that of the shadow. You must not be able to beat him. Infinitely close shadow. Yagami Kangdu raised his eyebrows, not surprised. The Uchiha clan dared to be so picky in Konoha village, and they dared to covet Hokage, who was supported by many great clans, indicating that it was impossible to have no background. If the elite Jonin was the pinnacle of combat power, the Uchiha clan would have been suppressed long ago. I don't care about the fact that the little girl you brought hurt my family members. But if you continue to entangle, don't blame me for being rude. The third elder of the Uchiha clan said with murderous intent. Yagami Kangdu smiled and said nothing. Looking around, no one at the top of the Uchiha clan spoke. Obviously, the behavior of the three elders of Uchiha was acquiesced. Boom. A gust of wind suddenly swept through. The 8 gods Kangdu opened the 8 gates of Dunjia. 6th, Jingmun, towards the peacock. Talking too much is nonsense, and he rushed directly to the 3 elders of Uchiha. Chapter 34. One punch kills the 3 elders of Uchiha. Boom boom boom. Under the rapidity, the air continued to resonate with sonic booms. Along with the sparks in the sky, a brazen punch fell directly to the 3rd elder Uchiha. The 3 elders of Uchiha were suddenly angry. He hasn't started yet he dares to attack first. Do you really think he's old and can't move? Writing wheel eye, 3 hook jade open. More terrifying than Uchiha Hirakawa's pupil power, the illusion makes Yagami Kangdu seem to be in a boundless sea of fire. Crack. Just a moment, as if there was a sound of glass breaking in my ear. The environment of the third elder Uchiha suddenly collapsed, and Yagami Kingdo punched him in the abdomen without reservation. The eyes of the third elder Uchiha burst violently. He could never have imagined that the illusion that he was proud of would not work on Yagami Kingdo. The strength of a body that is infinitely close to the shadow did not have time to use it, and the whole person slammed against the wall and fainted. It is exactly the same as the 8 elders of Uchiha just now, and even the posture is exactly the same. You know, normal ninjas are all output types. Super attack power, super destructive power, super strong dodge sensitivity. The only thing missing is the body. For a physique expert like Kagami Kingdo, the most fearful thing is getting close. It's a pity that the third elder Uchiha is too confident. This led to the fact that the strong man who approached the shadow dignifiedly was killed by a single punch. Everyone around was stunned. I have long heard that Iori Kingdo is very powerful, and one punch is an elite jonin. But I didn't expect that the powerhouse connected to the close shadow couldn't hold a punch. Let's go. To deal with the 3 elders of Uchiha with one punch, Iori Aoto seems to have done something trivial. Turning back, he took Uchiha Makoto and Yi King, and left with a swagger. Uchiha Fuyu didn't dare to stay too long, although the matter had nothing to do with him. But Yagami Kingdo followed him back to his family after all. The elders of the family have no way to settle accounts with Yagami Kingdo. Is he in a good mood when they see him? When Yagami Soto left, Konoha Anbu, who was hiding in the dark, was stunned. They stared at the scene in front of their eyes, unable to believe it. OMG. That is the third elder of the Uchiha clan, infinitely close to the shadow-level combat power. In terms of strength alone, in the entire Konoha village, there are not many people who can suppress it. With such terrifying strength, coupled with the strength of the Uchiha clan, how could anyone dare to fight him? Rao is so. As strong as the third elder Uchiha, facing the 9-year-old Yagami Kingdo, is it a matter of one punch? Yagami Kingdo, so perverted. Those who were defeated earlier couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Not wrong to lose. Even those who are close to the shadow-level powerhouse can't hold a punch, let alone them. The 3 Uchiha elders are really good people. One person came forward to save them the embarrassment of being talked about. How incredible is it that Dang Shangren was defeated by a 9-year-old child? How embarrassing. Now there are the 3 elders of Uchiha, good people. Brother Kingdo, the third elder Uchiha looks so powerful, but he can't even take a punch from you, is he too weak? On the way, Yi King put his waist on his back and said very disdainfully. PFF'd. Someone around suddenly heard it, and a mouthful of water spurted out. The 3 elders of Uchiha. That is the peak combat power of the Uchiha clan. Beaten with one punch. OMG. What kind of victory is this Yagami Kingdo? I thought the elite Junin was already the upper limit. But it's only been so long, and every day is full of surprises. The eyes of everyone looking at Yagami Kingdo are like looking at monsters. Kingdo. At this moment, Zilai also hurriedly ran over to face him, and made a light noise. Going forward, he kept looking at Kingdo Iori, wondering, it's strange, Uchiha's group of guys, how can you easily bring people out? Is no one embarrassing you? There is no reason to fight. It makes sense to even talk back to the teacher. It makes no sense to let you leave easily. Tsunade Haim, who followed, was also puzzled. Although Orochimaru didn't speak, his eyes still showed curiosity. Brother Kingdo is so powerful. He killed the third elder Uchiha with one punch. They were stunned and watched us leave directly. Before Iori Kingdo could reply, Yi King waved his fist and said proudly. What? Jirai couldn't help but exclaimed, you mean the third elder Uchiha? That is an existence close to the shadow level, Uchiha's peak combat power. Is this guy a punch? OMG. Every time they see Yagami Aodo, Jiraiya, Tsunade Haim and others feel refreshed. Anything else? I have to arrange Makoto's accommodation. Compared to the excited Yi King, Yagami Kingdu seemed very calm. I didn't think it was an honor to defeat the 3 elders of Uchiha. It's alright, if there is something that can't be solved, remember to find me. Jilai also shook his head and warned. Yagami Kanto nodded, and quickly left with Uchiha Makoto and Yi King. 3 days. Uchiha Makoto finally accepted the fact that she left the family and followed Yagami Soto in the future. Father is not dead. But the specific situation, Yagami Kingdu did not intend to explain to her. Uchiha Makoto didn't ask for that much, and she felt at ease knowing that she wasn't dead. Honestly, live at Yagami Kanto's house. The 3 little girls, all about the same age, soon became romantically involved. The original Yagami Kingdu's residence was not enough. Fortunately, there is still 1.5 million wind coins from the leader of the Ronin in Sandian village. In addition to the 2 million fire coins given to Ichiro Miura earlier, there are still 2.3 million fire coins on hand. Huobi of the 5 major countries is interconnected, and the ratio is also 1:1, which saves Iori Kingdu a lot of trouble. After renting the house, Uchiha Makoto, Yekora, and Uzumaki Kushina were each assigned a room. Yagami Kanto has 1 room and the house has a large courtyard. The courtyard was originally planted with some flowers and plants, but now it has been transformed into a suggested practice field. The basic ninjutsu of small particles, the training of shuriken, etc., can basically be satisfied. For Yagami Kanto, there is no need for a vase at all. Uzumaki Kushina and others are also very high-spirited, and they are working hard to cultivate every day, trying not to hold back Yagami Kingdu. On this day, Iori Kingdu had just finished assigning tasks to them, and Jirai also came to them. "You kid, do you want to do such a scary thing every time?" He came up and yelled. Yagami Kingdu was puzzled, but the intelligence letter in Jiraiya's hand suddenly came to his senses. It turned out that the information was written on that day, when he fought against Sandai Mikazekage. Very concise description. Yashin Kangdu, 9 years old, facing the magnetic tunnel Sand Iron Shiu, no injuries. Chapter 35, The Second Ninja War is Inevitable. This information is not only obtained by Konoha, but also in other shinobi villages. Each village will send a large number of spies. As the saying goes, know yourself and the other. The most shocking information recently is about Yagami Kanto, the youngest captain of the dark part of Konoha. Now to add one more. Hard to regret the 3 generations of Wind Shadow. Obviously, it was just a trick of all-out sand and iron, and there was a lot of rumors from the outside world. I can't wait to say that Yagami Kingdu has shadow-level strength, and he has a strong duel with the 3 generations of Mefunging. The battle was devastated, and the sun and the moon had no light. In short, how to exaggerate, how come? It is not known who spread the rumors, but the purpose is very malicious. The 9-year-old elite Junin is enough to kill, comparable to the 9-year-old child of the shadow level, that is the sure kill target. It's a pity that Yagami Kingdu doesn't care about all this. Rather than worrying about these messy things, it is most practical to improve your strength. Go home and have a good night's rest. Early the next morning, Yagami Kingdu came to the pond behind Hokage Rock, ready to go fishing. Just as he was about to put down the bait, the members of the Dark Division team came up. "Captain, Lord Hokage, please come to Hokage's office, he has something to look for you." Here isn't Sarutobi looking for himself. Yagami Kingdu raised his eyebrows, put away his fishing rod, and headed to Hokage's office. Opened the door and walked in. Jiraiya, Tsunade Haim, and Orochimaru were actually there. "Come on." Sarutobi Hizen waved at Yagami Kingdu and motioned to come forward. "Is something wrong?" 3 generations old man. Iori Kingdu said in doubt. He felt that this battle was a bit unusual. Especially seeing Sarutobi Hizen's face. He has always been expressionless, but now he seems to be very worried. Union Village, something happened to the 8-tailed man Zuli. Jiraiya looked at Yagami Kingdo and didn't hide it. It turned out that during this period of time, the major ninja villages were constantly in friction, and Konoha had been in secret contact with Union Village. Hoped to help the leader of the peace faction in Union Village to take the stage. It's a pity that today's Raikage 3 is too powerful, suppressing everything and successfully taking the stage. Recently, they have been changing frequently. Even, there was also the eight-tailed person Zuli, and the disappearance of Bulubi disappeared. If only that was the case. But everything pointed to Konoha village. At first, everyone thought that Bulubi was just going somewhere to relax. After all, since he became a human pillar, he felt that he lived in the fear of death every day, almost depressed. There will often be things that disappear for 10 days and a half months, and then reappear. Over time, Union Village followed him. But this time is completely different. A full 3 months. It has been 3 months since the last time I contacted Bulubi. Recently, the 3 generations of Mi Raikage have been sending people to look for clues. As a result, there were various signs that everything was related to Konoha Ninja Village. Therefore, the top priority now is to find Bulubi as soon as possible. You can't give Union Village an excuse to attack Konoha Ninja Village. Although Konoha Village is not afraid of a mere Union Village, other ninja villages have not been peaceful recently. Friction intensifies. According to Sarutobi Hizen's guess, the Second Ninja World War may be inevitable. Now, he can't give other shinobi villages a reason to attack Konoha Village. At present, Konoha is still in preparation, and many aspects are not sufficient. If you can buy more time, you will have a better chance of winning. Teacher, could it be that the 3rd generation of Leian deliberately framed things, just wanting to start a war against Konoha? Tsunade Haim speculated. It's unlikely, he just took the stage, and there are still many obstacles in the village. The most important thing for him at the moment is to carry out a big purge to consolidate his rights. Jilai also shook his head, hitting the nail on the head. That's right, and the importance of the 8-tailed person Zuli is self-evident. Union Village will not be so stupid. Using him as a bait will be counterproductive. Orochimaru nodded and agreed. That's it, teacher, I will go to Union Village in person to see if I can find any clues. Said also. Sarutobi Hizen heard the words, nodded and said, okay, you must be careful. Jiraiya is a fool on weekdays, but when he is serious, he is still very reliable, and Sarutobi Hizen feels relieved about him. I see, Zilai also responded. Only. Just when Zilai was about to turn around and leave to prepare. Yagami Kingdo said, leave this matter to me. This thing is full of weirdness everywhere. Even the intelligence system of Konoha Village didn't have any clues. Yagami Kingdo only wanted one possibility. Black absolutely. Now that it has not been exposed for the time being unknown is the most dangerous. Even if it is stronger than Jiraiya, once it is calculated, I am afraid that it will not escape death. Kagaya Otsutsuki, why did he resurrect in the end? Is it really that other ninja villages are too wasteful? On the contrary, Heiju is too cunning. With Jiraiya's current temperament, it is difficult to deal with even if he meets him. But Yagami Kingdo is different. He really wanted to meet this guy Heiju. He has no strength, but it can stir the muddy water of the entire ninja world, which makes him very curious. Although he didn't know why Bulubi disappeared and where he was now. But a targeted search is much more efficient than a random, aimless search. Jiraiya looked at Yagami Kingdo. He really had a lot of things to do recently. If he wants to go to find Bulubi, he also needs to deal with the recent affairs of Yuyin Village and Wuyin Village. Exactly. Yagami Kingdo volunteered. Zilai also thought about it carefully, and finally nodded. Okay, this matter is left to you. Bulubi is missing, and all the evidence points to Konoha. This is too coincidental. In any case, it is best for everyone to prepare for the worst. Yagami Kanto reminded. When the words fell, he nodded at the crowd. Turn around and leave. On the same day, Yagami Kingdo led an unmanned dark team, left Konoha village, and went to the Land of Thunder. The Second Ninja World War is getting closer. Looking up at the sky, Yagami Kingdo was thoughtful. Running all the way, smooth sailing. The team members led by Yagami Kingdo are all in the Chunin and have rich experience in performing tasks. There are not many people, but the essence. Going to other people's sites, you may have to face the pit bull of Heiju, and everything needs to be more cautious. As for preventing the occurrence of the Second Ninja World War, no need, no need. This is the inevitability of history. After nearly 2 decades of peace, a war is inevitable. Unbalanced distribution of resources, in order to increase fair privileges, get resources that they think are in line with themselves. The armed forces of the major ninja villages have raised their heads and tried to expand their territories by force. Plunder resources. The Second Ninja War is inevitable. Chapter 36, The Strongest Shield, the Third Eye Raikage. It was when Yagami Kingdo was thinking about what to do next. Captain, there is a fight ahead. The members of Anbu who were sent to investigate ahead came back to report. Someone fighting. Yagami Kingdo glanced at the map, and now they have entered the territory of the Land of Thunder, infinitely close to Union Village. Is it infighting? Shouldn't it? Can you confirm the identity of the other party? Yagami Kingdo asked. Captain, one of them is very skilled in using Lei Dun, and according to the image comparison, it is confirmed that he is the 3rd generation of Raikage. As for the person who is chasing, he is covered in black clothes and cannot distinguish his identity. Anbu member reported, but seeing that he can insist on escaping under Raikage, I am afraid that he is at least a Shang Nin level powerhouse. Oops, listen to the sound, it seems to be coming towards us. As soon as the Anbu members finished speaking, there was a great rushing movement not far away. The 3 generations of Megumi Raikage are gentle and kind to their own family, but they are very aggressive towards people in other villages. If he was discovered, it would be inevitable to fight. In the face of the 3rd generation of Raikage, who is known as the strongest spear and the strongest shield, they have no chance of winning. Bypass. Yagami Kanto ordered. He came out on this trip just to find the trace of Bulubi. Other unnecessary things can be avoided. Everyone ran quickly and continued to move in the other direction. Huh. Suddenly, Iori Kingdo raised his brows and ordered, you all continue to go to the designated place, I will be there later. When the words fell, his figure flashed and disappeared in front of everyone. Just now, he suddenly felt an abnormal fluctuation different from chakra. Doubt in mind, need confirmation. The Dark Part team suddenly pulled their faces, and the team's strongest combat power was not there, but don't be unlucky enough to run into Raikage. How do you know? The less you want to get involved in unimportant things. Things come to you on their own. Boom. With a huge roar, 2 chasing figures have come to the eyes of everyone. The figure shrouded in black robe slammed into the ground, directly smashing a deep pit. When the dust and smoke rose, there was a bang sound. Tall, like a beast in the shape of a human, the 3rd generation Meg Raikage appeared in front of everyone. Ben also wanted to continue chasing the man in black, but when he saw a group of Konoha ninjas, his eyes suddenly burst. People from Konoha Ninja Village. What are you doing here in my country of thunder? You have long suspected that you did what happened to Bulubi, and it seems to be true. Sandame Raikage panted like a cow, and said in a thunderous voice. Everyone only felt a buzzing in their ears. Second only to Iori Kingdo, the vice captain of the Dark Division team stood up and said quickly, we are passing by on a mission and don't intend to disturb, so I will leave. Humph. Sandame Raikage snorted coldly and said nothing. There is no evidence for Bulubi, and he can't rashly attack Konoha Ninja. Although he doesn't pay much attention to it on weekdays, Anbu's name is still very famous. These people wearing masks in front of them are obviously people from Konoha Anbu. At present, he has just ascended to Yunyin's position, and his power is not stable, and he cannot provoke Konoha village. Leave Union Village quickly and let me see you again, don't blame me for being rude. The third generation Raikage snorted coldly and quickly walked towards the man in black robe. After sneaking around outside Union Village for many days, the third generation Raikage had reason to suspect that it had something to do with Bu Lubi. The Dark Troops and others fled quickly as if they had been granted amnesty. The third generation Raikage was instantly surrounded by thunder and lightning. There was a sudden gust of wind, the clouds were dense, and the lightning flashed. The terrifying aura swept out, and the Dark Division team could clearly feel the aura of destruction even after running for hundreds of meters. As soon as the third generation Raikage started, the man in black robe immediately moved. He knew that he was not a Raikage opponent, but at this time, running away would only aggravate death. Rather, work hard. Hell Assault 5 books consistent. Concentrating chakra on 5 fingers, the penetration is extremely terrifying. The power of this technique can be greatly enhanced as the number of fingers decreases. The 3 generations of Raikage in the original work once smashed the super defensive ninjutsu set up by the Ninja Coalition with the help of Hell Thrusting in 4 books. Dun Wan Li Tu Lu Wall and Rong Dun Stick Wall. The attack power is obvious. In the eyes of the third generation of Raikage, the person in front of him is no more than a mere Jonin. 4 copies are wasted, and 5 copies are enough. Wrapped in monstrous thunder and lightning, the third generation Raikage who turned on the Thunder Chakra mode was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he came to the man in black robe. Wu Bengguansho quickly reached out and released it almost at 0 distance. Boom boom boom. The air was squeezed, and a large amount of flames erupted with sonic booms. The terrifying airflow swept toward the black-robed man before his fingers landed on his body. Boom. With a loud bang, the man in black robe tried his best to complete the next 5 books. At the same time, the hands formed seals, and the fire escaped. Fire escape how fireball technique. A terrifying scorching fireball crashed down, hitting Raikage 3, sputtering a lot of sparks. But the 3 generations of Meguraikage did not suffer any damage. Too weak, how dare you come to Union Village even with this little ability? The third generation Mu Raikage sneered. The man in black robe did not respond and was trying his best to adjust his state. Seeing this, the third generation of Mu Laying also discovered the intention of the black-robed man, and shot again directly. The captain between the two was extremely fast. Although it was a one-sided crush, Raikage 3 didn't seem to want to end the battle prematurely. If the man in black hadn't had the strength, he would have scolded him harshly. You're not an actor, so don't make these gimmicky plots, okay? Is cat and mouse fun? But he couldn't say it at all. The powerful pressure made him tired of dealing with the 3-generation Meg Raikage attack. Really can't say a word. The 2 afterimages were constantly fighting, and the wind pressure swept recklessly. The surrounding trees, flowers and plants are pierced by thousands of holes, telling how intense the battle scene between the 2 is. Hell Assault 5 books consistent. Thunder and lightning circled around the fingers of the third-generation Raikage, wrapped in terrifying destructive power and oppressive power, and stabbed. Boom boom boom. The sonic boom was loud, accompanied by the collapse of a large number of trees. The jumping arc radiation range has increased, and the third generation of Raikage seems to be tired of playing. Want to end the fight with one move. In the face of the 3 generations of Raikage from the previous game, the black-robed man still only has the instinct to cope. Now faced with even more terrifying power, it is naturally unstoppable. This is the price paid for invading Union Village. The arc was released from the hands of the third Meg Raikage, directly hitting the black-robed man who was unable to resist in midair. The black-robed man suddenly flew out like a rag sack. Falling to the ground, blood was sprayed from the mouth, and the whole person's breath was sluggish. It's over, let's live up to the master. The black-robed man smiled bitterly. I also wanted to perform well on the first mission, but I didn't expect to encounter a life and death situation. The black-robed man has completely lost hope of surviving. The 3 generations of Reikage are just too strong, to the point of despair. He closed his eyes in despair, waiting for death to come. Chapter 37. Baman Dunjia vs. Lei Dun Chakra Mode. Waiting hard, the sound of his body being penetrated did not come. He felt that a rather terrifying powerhouse appeared beside him. Opening his eyes in disbelief, the man in black robe was stunned. Standing in front of him is a half-year-old child. With a very familiar back, the man in black robe immediately blurted out and exclaimed his master. But he held back. He cannot reveal his identity. Otherwise, it will bring unnecessary trouble to the owner, or even a fatal crisis. 1 hit from hell and 5 books, I thought I could instantly make a black-robed man. But something unexpected happened. Someone actually intervened and let the man in black robe survive. Such a result was unacceptable to the 3rd generation of Reikage. 3 generations of Megumi Reikage immediately cast his gaze and saw the Konoha forehead on Yagami Kingdo's head. He was angry. It's Konoha Ninja Village again. Do you really want to go to war with my Union Village? Under the fury, the 3rd generation of Ai's Reikage faintly felt that Yagami Kingdo was a little familiar. After scratching his head and thinking for a moment, the 3rd generation of Megurai suddenly woke up. Are you the captain of the dark part of Konoha Shinjin? Yagami Kingdo. At such an age, it is possible to have a child with the strength to take over his 5 books, and I am afraid there is only one option. But so what? You are very strong. At your age, I am far weaker than you. However, a genius who has not grown up is always easy to die. 3 generations of Ai's Reikage said with burning eyes. He really wanted to kill Yagami Kanto directly. But anywhere, in any world, there are rules and bottom lines. Obviously, Yagami Kanto is the bottom line of Konoha Village. Otherwise, the 3 generations of Mi Reikage can't think of any reason why Konoha Village can let geniuses like Yagami Soto run around the world. Aren't you afraid of dying? Obviously, don't be afraid. Having reached the strength of Yagami Kingdo, he can't be killed without a name, and all he can kill are big names with names and surnames. Once this kind of person makes a move, Konoha will definitely never die. Don't think that the information shows that Yagami Kingdo is only a commoner. In the eyes of other shinobi villages, this is simply a rhetoric that confuses them. How could such a terrifying genius be a civilian? Most likely it is the Hokage candidate. Killing a commoner, or even Shangnin, as long as it is handled cleanly, that's all. But if you kill a monster like Yagami Kingdo, then things will be bad. Don't look at the tragic war of the ninja world, it is not to the extent of the elite. It really angered Konoha Village, at least Union Village couldn't bear it. Therefore, the 3rd generation Reikage restrained his murderous intentions and said calmly, what is this person related to you? A gang. No wonder he has a strange smell unique to Konoha people. Although a paragraph is made up, but Yagami Kanto has to admire the 3 generations of Reikage. Guess exactly. At the same time, Iori Kingdo didn't know that his identity had long been made up by people. It is the only seedling and hope of Konoha's future prosperity. I don't know him and have nothing to do with him. Iori Kingdo waved his hand and changed the subject, but I'm a kind child, I can't watch you kill innocent people indiscriminately. The reasons are lame, untenable, and untenable. But that's okay. There is no one here, no matter how lame, as long as there is an excuse. So, you want to stop me from killing? Sandaime Reikage was furious. Seeing Yagami Kingdo nodding, Lei Dun Chakra mode started again. A terrifying blue arc flashed all over his body, and his originally tall and burly figure became more and more terrifying. Do you really think I dare not do anything to you? As long as I don't kill you, Konoha Village will not dare to do anything. The 3rd generation of Mu Reikage finished his words and started directly. Up as the stab of hell, 4 books. The terrifying arc surged, giving people a huge pressure. The third generation of Reikage did not hesitate to act. The wind pressure swept through, and the destructive power was extremely amazing. The four fingers that wrapped the arc came together and went straight towards Yagami Kangdu. Yagami Kanto is only a 9-year-old child after all. Even the so-called elite Jonin, for the third generation of Reikage, it is not necessary at all. For such a little guy, Reikage 3 intends to kill with one hit. Boom boom boom. Horror sonic boom soars into the sky. The arc of terror nearly overturned the ground. Sandaime Reikage's face was full of grimness, but his eyes widened in a moment. The ground on which Yagami Kangdu was standing collapsed layer by layer. The strong wind pressure centered on him, swept out, and competed with the wind pressure detonated by the 3 generations of Marikage. 5 doors Konoha whirlwind is not enough. That's 6. Exploding towards the peacock, it has already achieved a slightly weaker wind pressure of the 3rd generation of Reikage. 7th shocking door Day Tiger. Boom boom boom. I am afraid that the air pressure will be swept away, and the air pressure caused by the 3 generations of Reikage's 4 hands will collapse in an instant. 7th, Jingmun Daehu has broken through the limits of human safety, and his strength has skyrocketed exponentially. 6th, Duman Konoha Whirlwind is still able to defeat the elite Jonin. At this moment, Iori Kangdu has officially possessed the strength to challenge a Bening-level powerhouse. Although this time is limited. But judging from the current situation, the Yagami Kangdu, who started the Day Tiger, has been able to faintly suppress the 3 generations of Reikage. The pupils of the 3 generations of Lei shrank, and he secretly said in his heart, "It really is." Such a terrifying little devil is definitely the heart of Konoha Shinobi Village. Fortunately, he didn't hit the killer directly, otherwise it would be bad. However, in the current situation, it seems that he can't kill Yagami Kangdu. But you can't lose face. Hehe, very good, I'm also worried that you are too weak, and you can't even resist my move. Sandaime Reikage said coldly. It's too early to talk. Yagami Kangdu said with an expressionless face. When the words fell, a tyrannical aura erupted, sweeping all around. The pressure of fear almost enveloped most of the forest. In the forest, birds and beasts screamed. The sudden oppressive force even slowed down the speed of the Thunderbolt Chakra mode of Reikage 3. Originally, it relies on the infinite loop of Lei Dun Chakra to activate body functions. In this way, it is equivalent to weakening the strength in disguise. 4 books in one hand. Feeling the pressure, the 3rd generation of Reikage did not dare to neglect, and wanted to seize the opportunity. If a dignified shadow-level powerhouse loses to a 9-year-old kid, it will be a real shame. Sibin Guancho was directly thrown away by Yagami Kangdu with a whip leg. Yes. A whip leg. I am afraid that the attack that was enough to seriously damage the elite Jonin was disintegrated by a whip leg. The 3 generations of Reikage erupted again, and the Lei Dun Chakra mode broke out in an all-round way, crashing into the Yagami Kangdu. Yagami Kangdu waved his arms, aiming in the direction of the 3rd generation of Meguri Kage, and it was a straight punch. Chapter 38. The legend is broken, the strongest shield is broken. Boom. I thought it was a wonderful scene of a strong confrontation, but it turned out that the 3rd generation of Reikage flew out uncontrollably. Flying upside down quickly, hitting more than a dozen towering trees in a row, it was worthy of a stop. If anyone sees the 3rd generation of Reikage so embarrassed, I am afraid they will be stunned. That is the terrifying Reikage 3, known as the strongest spear and the strongest shield. Legend has it that he was able to pity the 8-tailed bull ghost with his bare hands, and ended in a tie when he was exhausted. Where can I think? Such a terrifying existence was actually blown away by Yagami Kangdu. Is this really just a 9-year-old? Reikage Sandai expressed deep suspicion. Standing up from the rubble, Reikage 3 found himself injured. The place where Yagami Kangdu hit his chest was slightly sunken and slightly fractured. If this matter spreads out, it will definitely stir up the entire ninja world. The strongest shield is by no means a false name. With the eight-tailed ox ghost, he was unscathed except for exhaustion. But now facing the Yagami Kangdu, the 3 generations of Meg Raikage, the myth of the strongest shield has been shattered. Even if it wasn't a fatal injury, it was enough. For a time, even the 3rd generation of Megumi Raikage was stunned. Such a result was unacceptable to him. Come on, I haven't lost yet. The arrogant 3rd Meg Raikage quickly regrouped. Hell Assault 3 books. Above the sky, thunderclouds are densely covered. The arc of the sky flickered and poured down, which was a move by the 3rd generation of Raikage to break through the current limit. Before facing Yagami Soto, this was the first time that Sandaime Raikage took such an adventure. I would rather hurt 1,000 myself than 800 enemies. Unfortunately, Yagami Sudo will not give Sandaime Raikage a chance to gather strength. Boom, and left the place. The figure burst into a flash and slammed into the 3rd generation of Raikage with a punch. He was knocked into the air again, and the 3 books had not yet been brewed, and were directly strangled in the cradle. The earth shook, and countless trees burst. Sandaime Raikage was furious. How is that possible? When the Hell Thrust is cast, the surrounding area will be filled with a large number of thunder arcs. Although its lethality is not high, it is better than its own paralysis effect. Once someone approaches, even if it is an elite Jonin, the speed will drop suddenly, and the movement will be hindered to some extent. It is based on this confidence that the 3 generations of Raikage will choose to brew 3 books. But how to know? Could this be the result? It's always been you, it's my turn. Yagami Kantu sneered as he looked at Raikage 3. He quickly came to a big tree that needed 5 or 6 adults to be surrounded by, and uprooted it in the blink of an eye. Like holding a cotton swab, he waved it easily, and smashed it hard at the 3 generations of Raikage. The 3rd generation of Raikage gritted his teeth, and Lei-Dun Chakra was working at full power again. Pushing hard upwards, throwing a punch. Boom! His calf sank deep into the ground, but fortunately, the towering tree was shattered by his punch. Just before he could catch his breath, a towering tree that covered the sky fell. Boom boom boom. The 3 generations of Raikage can't dodge, and can only choose hard resistance. With the powerful physical strength, the previous attacks were indeed resisted abruptly. But Yagami Kangdu was too fierce. The towering trees were pulled out one after another, and the hammers fell one after another. 3 generations of Raikage's body kept sinking into the ground, his wrists were numb, and he had almost no strength to fight back. Although he knew that he couldn't kill him, Yagami Soto also had to teach Raikage a profound lesson. Age doesn't mean strength, but it shouldn't be underestimated just because the other party is a child. This moment. The earth trembled, earth and rocks splashed. The ground collapsed deeply, and Yagami Kangdu was still hammering. 3 generations of Raikage had disappeared, sinking deep into the ground, but the offensive was not over yet. Not far away, Konoha Anbu, who heard the huge movement and secretly groped to check the situation, was stunned. All of them were silent. I have long known that the strength of my own captain is very strong, but I think it is comparable to the elite Junin. And they are all from the same village, so they keep their hands somewhat. But now, he was facing the strongest in Union Village, the 3rd generation Meg Raikage. This is the terrifying shadow-level powerhouse known as the strongest spear and the strongest rear shield. The terrifying Raikage who was exhausted and ended in a tie, that stubborn 8-tailed bull ghost. There is no need to doubt the strength of the 3 generations of Raikage. Against Raikage, Yagami Kanto was able to achieve an absolute overwhelming victory. Especially when one punch broke the 5 books, and the towering tree hammer was continuously smashed. That kind of earth-shattering scene made them all clench their fists, not to mention how refreshing. Just now. In the face of the 3 generations of Raikage, they still need to avoid it. But now, look at their captain. It's just a wave of blood abuse, let alone face. They also did not expect that the strength of their own captain would be so terrifying. If they weren't Anbu, they needed to remain mysterious. After returning to the village, I will definitely have to brag about it everywhere. The third team, the leader of the dark part, Yagami Soto, the third generation of Reikage, who is the strongest shield of blood abuse. What kind of powerful strength does this have to be able to do such a thing? Just when the third Dark Division team was secretly excited, the man in black robe covered his stomach, and a big mouthful of blood spurted out. He was hit by the 5 books of the third Meg Reikage, and he suffered serious internal injuries. Just now, it was just to not affect the master, so he insisted on it. But now, seeing the battle over, he couldn't take it any longer. Boom, and fell to the ground. Captain, are you all right? Soon, members of the dark team quickly stepped forward to ask. Iori Kangdu waved his hand. Have you found any clues? Yes, in a wasteland not far away, the wreckage of a fierce battle was found. The scale of the battle was huge, and it is suspected that the Yatai people's Uri disappeared there. Anbu members nodded. Continue to chase and kill this person. I will take this person away for an investigation. He is chased and killed by the 3 generations of new Reikage. There must be some important secret. Yagami Kanto ordered. The members of the Anbu did not doubt that the black-robed man who suddenly appeared was indeed suspicious. Soon, everyone left, and the 8 gods Kangdu took the black-robed man away from Union Village. The next day. A gloomy cave. Yagami Kanto leaned against the entrance of the cave. In the entrance of the cave, the man in black robe gradually woke up from the coma. He clutched his stomach and seemed to have some sequelae. When the spirit is clearer, I only feel pain all over my body, it is like falling apart. Immediately after. But when he looked around, he found that the surroundings were unfamiliar, and he suddenly became alert. You can see the back of Yagami Kanto. He suddenly remembered what happened before he fell into a coma. He was hit by the 5 boned hands of Sandaime Reikage and was seriously injured in a coma. Chapter 39. Reborn, Turn Hatred into Power. Subordinate number 1, See the Master. Supporting his weak body, the man in black robe knelt down on one knee and said respectfully to Kangdu, the 8 gods. Get up. Yagami Kangdu waved his hand indifferently. The man in black robe was naturally Uchiha Hirakawa, who was dispatched to the land of thunder first. It's useless to subordinates, and it hurts the master. Uchiha Hirakawa did not get up and said ashamedly. If Yagami Kangdu didn't happen to pass by that day, I'm afraid his little life would have been explained. It's okay, it's not bad to be able to escape in the hands of the 3 generations of Reikage. Yagami Kanto doesn't care. Only after playing against each other did I know the strength of the 3 generations of Reikage. If it wasn't for the opening of the Day Tiger, I am afraid that even he would be explained. Why are you working so hard? Do you have any unresolved grudges with Danzo? Suddenly, Iori Kangdu asked. Seeing that Uchiha Makoto trains with all her strength every day, and stops until she is paralyzed, Iori Aoto is a little curious. Uchiha Hirakawa's eyes flashed, and the whole person became a little decadent. But after looking at Yagami Kangdu, he still explained, it probably started from 8 years ago. My lover, Makoto's mother, died on the battlefield. At the beginning, Uchiha Hirakawa and his wife belonged to Anbu and were directly under the jurisdiction of Danzo. It is a hostage left by the Uchiha family to Konoha. But accidentally, Uchiha Makoto's mother discovered Danzo's secret. Often contacts with other ninja villages, plotting to seize Hokage's position. At the same time, the dignified dispatch mission will kill all those who stand on the opposite side of him. It was precisely because of this secret that Uchiha Makoto's mother received the same treatment. Sent to perform a secret mission, he was intercepted halfway by a ninja disguised by Karayan village, and was pierced by countless shuriken. But when Uchiha Hirakawa arrived at the scene, he could only see a broken body. As a result, Uchiha Hirakawa has been pretending not to know, secretly investigating Danzo's evidence. But he acted very cautiously. After so many years, the first few days were the best chance. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Hirakawa's identity was exposed, and Danzo deliberately deceived him to the border. At the same time, secretly sent people to intercept. On that day, the third Anbu team led by Yagami Sudo didn't meet Anbu at all. Instead, they are directly affiliated to the root members of Danzo. Because of the uniform mask, it is difficult to be recognized. Uchiha Hirakawa's mood was very low, obviously thinking of the scene from that year. His pale face was full of sadness and helplessness. Do you want revenge? Can you bear any price for it? Yagami Kangdu silently looked at Uchiha Hirakawa and asked. Uchiha Hirakawa looked up and looked at Yagami Kanto, not understanding why he asked that. But he still nodded resolutely and said, I want to. Take this, if you can survive, your strength will be greatly improved. If you can't survive, I will burn your body on the spot. Yagami Kangdu reached into his arms and took out a bottle of green potion from the system space. This is one of the rewards obtained by fishing. The ability to recover from physical injuries is a side effect, and the most important thing is to be able to improve strength to a certain extent according to individual physiques. But this is tantamount to promoting the growth of seedlings, and there is a price to pay. The heart-piercing pain will make peoples will collapse, and those who can't bear it will burst with blood and die. At the same time, the potential is completely squeezed, and there is no hope of improvement in this life. Of course Yagami Soto doesn't need it, but Uchiha Hirakawa is obviously a good choice. Uchiha Hirakawa respectfully turned out the potion, and without any hesitation, opened the bottle cap and drank it directly. Ah! Just after entering, Uchiha Hirakawa's face turned red. His body fell to the ground, crouching and struggling. The blue veins on the forehead burst out, and the cold sweat broke out, sweating like rain. That kind of tragic pain to the bone makes Uchiha Hirakawa's life worse than death. In order to avoid screaming, Uchiha Hirakawa actually bit his arm by himself. Large pieces of flesh were torn off, and the smell of blood permeated the entire hole. But the potion's powerful recovery power works at the same time, and it can heal the injury in a flash. There are pros and cons. The injury can be recovered in an instant, and the spirit will always remain in a state of abundance. Every time Uchiha Hirakawa felt that he was about to faint from pain, but was stimulated by a coldness, his nerves were instantly stimulated. Ah! Waves of severe pain eroded, and Uchiha Hirakawa's will has become somewhat blurred. His eyes, nose, ears and other 5 senses have blood escaping, looking terrifying and hideous. Yagami Kangdu watched this scene silently, with no mercy on his face. The adult world is not easy. This is Uchiha Hirakawa's own choice, and the price needs to be borne by himself. A full 2 hours. Uchiha Hirakawa felt that he had walked countless times before the gate of hell. Suddenly, I don't know when, the intense pain disappeared. Instead, a cool breeze swept through his body. He didn't know how to describe the comfortable feeling. It's like being in a hot spring, wrapping yourself warmly, making people fluttering. Not only were the new wounds completely healed, but even the dark wounds and old diseases that had been left over for many years were repaired. The whole person is very relaxed, as if reborn. What a powerful force! Clenching his fist, Uchiha Hirakawa couldn't help but exclaimed. The pain is gone, and the pain is gone. The most important thing is that strength makes Uchiha Hirakawa unprecedented confidence. He looked at the empty medicine bottle he drank in disbelief. What kind of potion is this? So amazing. PFF'd. With a sound, Uchiha Hirakawa knelt down. It was originally because of the transaction between the two that Uchiha Hirakawa was willing to be a dead man. Thank you, Master. From now on, if the Master wants me to die, I will definitely not talk about it. Although Uchiha Hirakawa would do this before, but at this moment, it is really from the heart. Yagami Kangdu shook his head. Stupid. Uchiha Hirakawa was slightly stunned, and Iori Kangdu said, "It's more useful to save your life. Thinking about dying all day long, isn't this a waste of my medicine?" "Yes, what the master taught is." Uchiha Hirakawa was stunned and responded again and again. "Okay, don't talk so much, what about the things that you have to investigate?" After the conversation changed, Yagami Kangdu asked. "There are eyes and ears. The disappearance of Zuli Bulubi, the eight-tailed person, is indeed related to Danzo." Uchiha Hirakawa hurriedly said, "But Danzo seems to want to kill him directly, detonating the conflict with the Kingdom of Thunder. As a martial artist, Danzo is eager for war. In his opinion, only through war and plunder can Konoha become stronger. Of course, there is the most important point. Detonate the war and cut Sarutobi Hiro from power." He led Anbu to establish merits and successfully took office as Hokage. Chapter 40. The eight-tailed bull ghost suspects that he is going to be cold. But according to his subordinate's investigation, it was found that Bulubi did not die, but was rescued. It is strange that it is still impossible to find out who rescued the people. Uchiha Hirakawa continued. Yagami Kangdu was thoughtful. Suddenly, Uchiha Hirakawa seemed to think of something again. "But I got some black residue on the scene with faint chakra fluctuations on it, but I have never met a ninja of the same type." "Black residue? Show it to me." Uchiha Hirakawa quickly reached into his arms and carefully took out a package. "Spread it out, there is a pile of black powder on it." The eight gods Kangdu raised his brows immediately, and it was indeed Heiju. It's just that he has always acted carefully. Before the 4 Ninja World Wars, no one even knew of his existence. How could there be any traces left? "Where did you find these black residues? Take me there." Yagami Kangdu said directly. "Yes." Although Uchiha Hirakawa didn't know why, he quickly brought Yagami Kanto to the past. Coming to a wasteland that had clearly experienced a tragic battle, Yagami Soto saw the residue. It is exactly the same as what Uchiha Hirakawa got. With the powerful perception of his white eyes, he found another clue. Followed all the way, and soon, came to a cave. The cave is hidden and covered with weeds. If it hadn't been discovered by Yagami Kangdu by accident, it would have been really difficult to find. Push aside the weeds to reveal a deep cave. Strangely, it rains a lot these days, but the mouth of the cave is very dry. "I'm going to explore the way first. Master, wait outside." Looking at Yagami Kanto, Uchiha Hirakawa said immediately. Soon, Uchiha Hirakawa entered. Yagami Kangdu was not idle either, looking around for anything suspicious. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and the sand suddenly filled the surroundings. A black shadow flew out, and it was Uchiha Hirakawa. "Master, there is indeed a problem. I found Bulubi and a black monster inside." Uchiha Hirakawa drank for the first time. "Black monster. It must be black." The eight gods Kangdu heard the words and just left. Suddenly, the earth shook. Roar! With a loud roar, terrifying chakra fluctuations swept all around. Boom, boom, boom. There was a huge explosion in the direction of the cave, and then a huge behemoth appeared in front of everyone. The head of the bull, the tail of the tentacles of the octopus, is an eight-tailed bull ghost. Darkness. At first glance, Yagami Kangdu noticed Heiju, who was following the bull ghost. Just as he was about to pursue, the manic bull ghost blocked his way. "Little devil, although I don't know how you found this place, just enjoy the gift prepared for you." Heiju sneered, and his figure quickly merged into the ground. Roar! The eight-tailed bull demon roared again, and the terrifying chakra surged. Attached to the giant octopus tentacles, it slammed towards Yagami Kanto. Towards the peacock. Iori Kangdu frowned, and quickly opened the 8 doors to welcome him. Boom! Yagami Kangdu and Yatai Niyugi slammed into each other. In the center of the fight between the two, the pressure of terror swept through, no less than the previous battle with the 3 generations of Reikage. But the 8-tailed chakra is more terrifying, only inferior to the nine-tailed demon fox with the mark of the god of fire. Under the covering of a large number of chakras, the attack power of the octopus feet is extremely terrifying. The ground of Yagami Kengdu's combat power collapsed in the blink of an eye, and the earth and stones splashed. Just the aftermath, more than a dozen big trees were smashed into powder. After improving his strength, Uchiha Hirakawa wanted to join the battlefield, but was shocked to find that he could not intervene. The amount of chakra has increased to an infinitely close to the level of shadow, and self-estimation, the strength should be similar to the three elders of the Uchiha clan. But in terms of physical strength, it can't be compared with perverts like Yagami Soto and Yatai Niyugi. In this way, the inflated self-confidence suddenly diminished. Uchiha Hirakawa smiled bitterly. People are more dead than people, and goods are thrown away. But okay. Such a terrifying person is his master, not an enemy. Otherwise, it would simply be difficult to sleep and eat. The two physically strong perverts collided with a bang, and the movement was extremely huge. The battlefield is constantly on the ground, and the sound of explosions is endless. Such a huge movement is naturally impossible to hide from Union Village. What's the situation? Why does it feel like the sky is about to fall? Oops, it's the chakra fluctuation of the eight-tailed bull ghost. Why the seal will be lifted, go and determine the situation. At the same time, notify the seal team and prepare for support. The third-generation Reikage had just been dug out of the deep pit, and his body function had not recovered, so he was unable to participate in the suppression of Yao this time. The elders of Union Village quickly achieved results and made arrangements in an orderly manner. Soon, a large number of Yun ninjas were dispatched to the place where the explosion sounded. Meanwhile, in the other direction, an old woman with a cane raised her head, looked in the direction of the explosion, and muttered to herself, "What the hell? This is not what was planned." The words fell, and the seemingly old body suddenly moved at a high speed. At a rapid pace, it quickly approached the source of the explosion. Boom boom boom. The two perverts are still fighting each other. Yagami Kengdu said that the fight was very enjoyable. Compared with the explosive attack of the third generation of Megurai, the attack of the eight-tailed bull ghost is relatively constant. High-intensity continuous attacks are the main attack methods, relying on massive chakras in the body. But the eight-tailed cow ghost was depressed. Although he fell into a manic state, he did not completely lose his mind. The offensive, which has always been unfavorable, did not expect that one day, it would be stopped by weak humans. Still looks like a child. Haven't been out of the village for so many years, are all the children so terrifying now? The eight-tailed bull ghost became more and more frightened. He found that he couldn't help this half-year-old child at all. No matter how fast he was or how fierce his attack was, he could always be easily intercepted. Even, he has been able to feel the rapid reduction of chakra. But Yagami Kengdu, who was fighting against him, was not blushing or panting. Uchiha Hirakawa was stunned. So horrible. Is that human being? Even if the attack strength can be comparable, even the endurance is so strong. As we all know, very few ninjas can have chakras comparable to tailed beasts. At least Uchiha Hirakawa has not seen it. But at this moment, he has opened his eyes. The eight-tailed bull ghost with full combat power was suppressed in all aspects. The massive amount of chakra could not even give him a sense of security. Crash. The eight-tailed bull ghost turned around and was about to run away. No way. He suspected that if he fought like this, he might get cold. This little devil from nowhere is too strong.